disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be alright, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
We just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Welcome everybody to another BDA podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. Yeah, it's your good friend Mr. BDA. I got Gonzalo in the wings here. Gonzalo, you there?
Yeah, what's up, Mr. BDA?
Yo, what's up, Gonzalo? Good to hear from you as always, man. Indeed, we have a jam-packed show today, so thanks everyone for joining us. We're going to be previewing the Errol Spence vs. Yordenis Ugas fight taking place this Saturday on pay-per-view. But before we get down to that, you know the business here. We got to get to the business first and foremost. So make sure to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, spread the BDA gospel. And if you got a couple of shekels you can wire our way, that would certainly be fantastic. Could really help us out. But also you can help us out by joining the membership program. That way you get a little bit more bang for your buck. You get some emojis, special badges, and film analysis. But like I said, the most important thing is that you continue to like, subscribe. Check us out on Spreaker, iTunes, and Spotify. Spotify. Don't forget to check us out there at your leisure. All right, hey, listen, give a shout out. Let's give a shout out here to everybody in the chat. I'm talking about Earl Stevens. He says, give me a shout out. MMA Champ, Rex, TFM, Darkside TDI, Uncle Burnt Apostrophe, Official Scorecard Boxing. Shout out to Official. Shout out to Soothsayer, Reverend Pickles, and many more people to come, I'm sure, fellas. Thank you for joining us. We've got a good one here. Gonzalo, Timothy Bradley saying that Ugas might not be able to handle Spence's volume punching. And I never really considered Spence a volume puncher, but there it is with Timothy Bradley. What do you think? Like, let's cut to the BS and get down to it. Do you think Ugas has a chance of upsetting Spence? And if so, how big a chance?
He's got a great chance, but I think Timothy Bradley is kind of right, man, because Errol Spence chips away, and Ugas is a counterpuncher. He's an aggressive counterpuncher, but a counterpuncher will rarely do more than what he needs to. So basically, in every exchange, the counterpuncher's basically just trying to outshine what the other guy initiated, and he won't go much more past that because he only will capitalize off your mistakes and try to beat you tit for tat, in every exchange, maybe by one punch and so forth. So if Errol Spence keeps chipping away, can Yordenis Ugas continue to be aggressive in those exchanges and try to keep outshining him throughout the rounds as an aggressive counterpuncher? That remains to be seen, because a volume puncher that's aggressive, that's chipping away, will usually wear the opponent down. But the thing with Errol Spence that gets me thinking more than anything, will he be able to keep that pace since he's having to cut down and he's like in his early 30s now? But I think it's like a 50-50 fight, actually, because they're both left-handers and they're both long and lanky for the division. And they both got pretty good power, even though Yordenis Ugas doesn't reflect that in his knockout percentage. I was just watching some clips. Yeah, he's aggressive. So he put some pop behind his shots, and he's pretty big. So he's got a good chance. Don't be surprised if he does upset him, but it's like a 50-50 fight. I would actually favor Errol Spence just slightly. That's all, BD.
No, it's good, man. I mean, you're right. It's an interesting fight, and most people are picking Errol Spence. If you go to ringtv.com, in fact, they just had a they did the picks, official picks, where they ask experts and writers and so on about who for their picks, and 19-1 for Errol Spence. The only dissenting voice was Kathy Duva, and I think people in the comment section were saying that Kathy Duva actually tends to get her predictions right. So, like, I remember, look, when they did the same thing on Ring TV for Usyk Joshua, I think it was something like 18-2 for Joshua. Nobody in there was giving, well, only two people were giving Usyk a chance. So, could be the same thing here, because you know what's interesting, Gonzalo? A lot of people are saying, I'm questioning Spence. I don't know how he's going to look after almost 2 years out of the ring, with him saying and admitting that he's had problems outside the ring, discipline problems. He's not taking boxing all that seriously, even before the accident. Now, on top of that, there's videos of him drinking a lot in public during his fights or during other fights. So there's a big asterisk about how much is he going to have left when he goes in there. But people love to point out, yeah, but he's in great shape. And I'm thinking, does that really make, like, when you see a guy ripped, okay, it means he trained. It means he got himself to that ripped state. But how is he going to look mentally and from a stamina standpoint? Because I remember when Zab Judah was going to fight Amir Khan, he looked cut. He looked shredded to the bone. We'd never seen Judah look that good physically. And then what happened? One of his worst performances ever. Ended up getting stopped by Amir Khan. So just because a guy looks good physically and ripped and everything doesn't necessarily mean he's going to put on a good fight, right? Like, I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was listening to some of Ringside Reporter last night, just kicking back, and the Beeps made an excellent point, kind of what you're mentioning right now, BD. Sometimes you can look ripped, but is that really an indication that you're going to be strong? Because when you're defined, that means you're pretty much like dehydrated, and you could be looking all marked up. But does that necessarily mean you're at your fittest? Because obviously you want to look a little hydrated and replenished as well, but sometimes looking cut doesn't necessarily translate into being strong either. That's just something that I thought that you just mentioned for something that I watched last night. Could be the case.
Exactly. And I mean, how many people were making a big deal out of Andy Ruiz losing all that weight prior to the Areola fight? Then what happened? He looked like the same old Ruiz, just very tentative, counterpunching, stepping back, staying back, just waiting for something to happen. That's the thing, though. Well, if you can get yourself in the best shape of your life, but does that really change the mentality? For some fighters, it doesn't. Some fighters, on the other hand, they do gain confidence off of looking good, and they go, "Fuck, I'm in great shape, man. Let's go, let's do it." It remains to be seen if that's gonna, yeah.
And like, for example, Terrence Crawford and Canelo, two names that pop up. They've gone up in weight, and they're getting the knockouts. Maybe. Because they feel a little bit more comfortable as they're getting a little bit older in their past their 20s and their early 30s, where, they got the strength to maybe, put a little bit more behind their shots and whatnot. And so just two names that come up to mind, Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. And on the other hand, Errol Spence is kind of struggling as the fight progresses to hurt his opponents. So maybe that's one of those cases.
Well, Gonzalo, I want to get your thoughts on this. Have you seen the Figueroa fight recently? The Ugas Figueroa fight?
Yeah, I was just watching some of those highlights this morning, yes. But
Okay,
I did watch the fight.
Because if you watch that fight, I don't know how much you remember it from when we watched it or when it took place, but Ugas started out very quickly there, schooling Figueroa way too fast for him. He ended up dropping him and hurt him. I think he hurt him twice throughout the fight. But then as the fight progressed, a lot of holding from Ugas, a lot of holding. And Figueroa, I don't know if you remember when we had Librado Andrade here. I think it was Andrade who said that Figueroa wasn't taking boxing all that seriously at that time. A lot of shenanigans outside the ring. But he had balls and he had a good chin. And just with that pressure, he was sort of tiring Ugas out. So my question to you, Gonzalo, is if you got an Errol Spence in there that's much better than Figueroa, sharper, better jab, better skills, perhaps even heavier-handed as well, I would say, is he going to stop Ugas?
Um, will he stop him? I would say most likely not, because going back to the counter puncher will only do as much as he's forced to, or when he really wants to capitalize. So if you try to beat me up by two punches, I'm going to throw three punches. If you throw two hard punches, I'm going to throw two harder punches, and that's Yordenis Ugas. But at the same time, when he needs to like conserve his energy, I believe that he'll try to do that. So in some instances where he's holding and trying to catch his breath again and just pick his moments, he'll try to only do so much in order to win the exchanges and win the rounds. But at the same time, he's also got to think about his gas tank and making it to the end of the fight. If push comes to shove and he thinks, okay, maybe I need to win a decision, he's not gonna try to get knocked out. So he also wants to conserve his energy to punch when he needs to punch. So he's one of those guys that mentally he prepares to only do as much as he needs, but he also prepares to survive.
Interesting.
Because he's trying to make it to the end, right?
Right. Well, that's the interesting thing that's going to happen, because we're going to be doing a comparative analysis, by the way, where we're going to be comparing, like we almost always do for every big fight, who has the advantage in power, speed, jab, whatever. So stay tuned for that one. Going to be opening up the phone lines.
Yeah, and ultimately that's what ends up hurting the counter punchers nowadays. And I know that you do that with the hopes of surprising your opponent and maybe not getting hurt, down the way. That's what you try to do. But Errol Spence is just going to keep coming and coming. And yes, he's heavier handed than Ugas, so he'll keep chipping away. We'll see.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I'm curious to see how Ugas looks after 7-8 rounds. And because a lot of people expect Spence to, he's too slow. Look, that's the other thing, Gonzalo. Some people say, he looked a little bit too hesitant against Garcia in his last fight. I would have been hesitant too, no matter who you are. Garcia's heavy-handed. And people like to talk about how he's never really knocked out any real welterweight, blah, blah, blah. And that's true. But that doesn't mean he's not heavy-handed. A lot of the guys he fights tend to dance around him because they don't want to just walk into the big stuff. And Spence was no exception. So for Spence to be tentative against Garcia, I expected that a little bit. I don't know if he's going to be as tentative against Ugas, though, because Ugas, although he's sharp on the counterpunch, I don't think he's as heavy-handed as Garcia. What do you think? Do you expect a Spence was going to be tentative, or was it going to be the old 2017 Spence who just goes balls to the walls?
Well, he's got a little bit of like the surprise element. Ugas does, like the praying mantis, that insect, long limbs, and he just kind of waits in the cut and attacks you as a counter puncher. Yeah, he's going to have some sting. He's going to put some poison behind his shots early on. He doesn't have a lot of knockouts, I think like 12 and 26 fights, but I mean, he's dropped opponents, and you could tell that he really like lays into his shots. He's a left-hander that throws like a crazy overhand right. That could surprise Errol Spence. But yeah, I see what you're saying about Danny Garcia, heavy-handed and got a great chin. So he was closing the space, and you could hit Garcia, but you're probably thinking in your mind, when is it coming? When is it coming? If you're like Errol Spence when he fought him, because the guy that can take the shots always just looking to get in position, take your punch to land his when the opportunity presents itself in the moment. Boom. So you could always say that Danny Garcia was that guy that was just waiting for the moment, and Yordenis, who was his comparable, but not the same, but in the sense that he's a counter puncher, and it's kind of like when he fought Pacquiao. Pacquiao got him with the good shot, but then here came Yordenis Ugas right after that. Boom, with the size and the strength, trying to stave off and put some hurt on Manny Pacquiao. He did a good job of that. He'll do that against Errol Spence, but will he continue doing it like in the latter?
Yeah, because that's the interesting thing about the Ugas-Pacquiao fight, because, I mean, the Pacquiao win, Spence doesn't have a win that's as good as Pacquiao. Then again, it was a 41-year-old Pacquiao. So how much credit should you give Ugas for that? It's kind of hard to gauge where he's at right now. So this is why I enjoy this Spence-Ugas fight so much, because it's finally going to let us know, okay, what can Ugas do against perhaps the number one welterweight in the world? Was the Pacquiao fight a bit of a fluke? Because here's the thing, Pacquiao, he gave him a tough fight. It wasn't easy for Ugas. but it was a Pacquiao who couldn't quite turn on the afterburners anymore, as it happens with older fighters. Will Spence be able to turn on the afterburners? And if he does, how's Ugas going to react? That's what I'm very curious, man. I'm very curious to see what happens in this one. And, Spence, again, the same questions apply to him about how much he's got left in the tank. That's what a lot of people are asking. And I think after the fight, a lot of people are going to go, oh, why were you asking the question in the first place? As if we were not allowed to. But hey, I think it's a fair question to ask. Spence himself has admitted he hasn't taken boxing all that seriously outside the ring in between fights. So we're going to see what happens with that fella. It's going to be a very interesting concept, a very interesting clash of styles. Gazelle, I'm just curious, who did you have winning Ugas Pacquiao? Like, you thought Ugas clearly beat him, or I forget what you said about that.
I said, and I'll stick to that, Yordenis Ugas slightly outpointed Pacquiao. In the exchanges, he just looked like he finished because he didn't initiate. As a counterpuncher, he reacted. And when he reacted to Manny Pacquiao, it looks like he got the best of the exchange, and he realized that in his mind because he kept doing the same round out and round in that he was pretty comfortable knowing that he was probably ahead. Because when you're a counterpuncher and you'll outland your opponent when he initiated and you got the best of him, you're pretty much telling yourself, yes, I did my job. And I think he was sure of that, him in his corner. And I just thought that, he outshined Pacquiao just a little bit on every exchange.
Okay, so would it be fair to say that...
Not all of them, but the majority of them. That's why he got the decision, right?
Is it too crazy and disrespectful to say a prime Pacquiao beats Ugas? Gonzalo? No.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, is it disrespectful to Ugas to say that a prime Pacquiao beats him? Or is it just pointing out reality?
No, Manny Pacquiao was an all-time great, and he would have just done more than what he did on that night. So, Pacquiao most likely beats him.
Yeah, I think if he would have turned on the afterburners, if he would have been able to, I think he would have he would have taken Ugas to a place Ugas probably wouldn't have ever seen before. But again, it's all speculation. Ugas did beat him, so you got to give him some modicum of credit for that. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. And we got Jimmy dropping by. Jimmy, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up, Mr. VDA? Hey, I know you can't hear me that good. I'm about a minute from the house. I was walking the dog, so I'll jump on the headphones when I get to the door, right?
This is unacceptable, Jimmy. Unacceptable. How dare you?
I dropped the ball.
That's okay. Well, listen, we're going to be doing a comparative analysis, so you still got time, man. You still got time to wash your hands and everything.
I'll be on in a couple of minutes.
Fantastic.
All right, brother.
All right, good to hear, man.
I bet the dog's happy he dropped the ball. I'm chasing it right
now. Gonzalo with the puns there. Well, Gonzalo, so let me just, again, let's just get right down to it. Who are you picking between Ugas and Spence?
I believe I'm just going to assume that Errol Spence's conditioning will hold up for 12 rounds, and if that's the case, I'm going to have him winning by decision. Yes.
Who? Errol Spence by decision?
Errol Spence by decision.
All right.
I think the volume and the pressure, he'll just keep chipping away. And something that you brought up that Ugas holds as the fight progresses, that's probably gonna happen. They're both left-handers. They're gonna go to the body, but Errol Spence is just the heavier-handed puncher to the body, so he's gonna chip away at Ugas, and I believe that he'll probably win a split decision. So I'm picking Ugas. Correction, sorry, I'm picking Errol Spence.
Yeah, now you're confusing me. Okay, Spence. Okay, Spence by decision. All right. Now, it's interesting, though. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but I've been hearing this comment often around the internet. People saying that if Spence and Yordenis were to fight, they would favor Yordenis, no questions about it, and that Ennis is really the heir apparent. And it reminds me, Gonzalo, Spence was where Ennis is now about 4 years ago. No, sorry, more than 4, like 6 years ago. Remember when he beat Algieri? And everyone was like, holy shit, this guy beat Algieri up. Pacquiao couldn't stop him. Akan couldn't drop him or anything. Meanwhile, this guy goes in there. So whenever you have an undefeated prospect who's destroying people like Spence, the sky's the limit in your imagination. It's like, whoa, imagine what he can do to this guy. And people were saying that. I don't know if you remember, by 2018, people were saying, whoa, put him in against Porter, against Danny Garcia, against Thurman. He walks through all of them, even Terence Crawford. Now it's people are questioning what he's got left, blah, 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 and people are even picking Yordenis. Is that unfair to Spence, or are you on the same boat and you want to wait to see this Saturday what he's got left?
That's interesting because now it's like it seems, especially with the PBC fighters, that you go from contender to like world champion, then like your prime years are like short lived, and after that we're talking about like he's on the decline, and so these fighters never really live a life on the top that long, and it gets embellished a little bit every stage, like the contender to world champion to like where he dominated. Gets embellished like they had like this long run when in actuality they really haven't even cemented their position, let alone their legacy or anything like that. Their position as a top guy. So I mean, he should be still in his prime, and we're not considering it like short-lived with everything that's happened to him. He should still be dominating because he hasn't really dominated at all. That's what I'm trying to say. He's just like barely trying to establish himself as the top guy, but he's had a lot going on, and they fight few and far between the PBC guys. So he should be able to, like, for me, he's still got a lot to prove because this is supposed to be his era. If he is one of the top one or two guys, him and Terence Crawford, they're supposed to do what they need to do before these other guys come in, like the guy you just mentioned. Yordenis and the Virgil Ortizes of the world. So yeah, this is his time. He needs to live up to that.
Gonzalo, is it imperative that Spence, at least in your mind, that Spence do something impressive this Saturday? And the reason why I asked that is because we've talked a little bit about Spence right now. Let's say he were to retire. What's his legacy? What's his biggest win? Sean Porter? A close decision against Sean Porter? A win over Kell Brook. So is it imperative for him to be in the pantheon of great welterweights? Does he need to absolutely do something impressive against Ugas? And can he do it this Saturday?
It's a solid win. He hasn't got the knockout like I believe in his three last fights. I think he just needs to win convincingly. There's a little bit of a mirage because the guys that he faced had tough chins like Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, and even Mikey Garcia. That hasn't been knocked out yet, but he was a smaller guy. Mm-hmm. But other than that, before, I mean, he had like, I don't know, he's got 26 fights with 21 knockouts, so he had knocked out like almost everybody. But now facing Yordenis Ugas, he could probably get the stoppage. But like I said, Ugas will probably tie him up and be smart about coasting when he needs to coast. And he'll try to find openings to clip Errol Spence when Errol Spence opens up. But Errol Spence will keep opening up in the sense that he keep throwing punches, but he kind of keeps it tight. So there'll be times where that pressure and just, him keeping his elbows tight and putting the pressure on Ugas will keep Ugas far too busy for him to land these incredible counter punch combinations that he was landing against maybe Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao brings the pressure too, but this guy's younger. And he's probably going to do a better job of going to the body this time around because, I mean, this is Errol Spence, younger, and also a left-hander. But trying to say, yeah, okay, maybe that wasn't Manny Pacquiao's best tonight. You can't compare two fighters. They're different. In the sense that I think Errol Spence is going to do a good job. He's lankier, and I think he's just going to get the job done because he throws a lot of punches. So that volume punching, like Timothy Bradley says, is going to bring problems. Because you can only do a good job of counter punching, and every combination for a thinking man like Ugas is going to be hard. Yeah, he's going to get the best out of the exchanges sometimes. But if Errol Spence keeps bringing the pressure, that's going to be too much for Yordenis Ugas to handle to get these excellent counter combinations going all the time. So pretty much he's going to get his computer flooded at times. So I think, yeah, he's going to chip away, and that's what he's going to do.
All right. Well, listen, hopefully this comparative analysis that we do is going to give us a little bit more clarity. Shout out to Black Chibi for his contribution with the super chat. He says, Ugas for the win. I think Canelo is a bum. Facts. Whoa. All All right, so Black Chibi having to throw a Carnello, as he likes to call him, under the bus. Shout out to Black Chibi. He's picking Ugas for the win, the underdog. So there we go. We got one person coming in here picking the underdog to pull off the upset.
Sorry, BD.
No, it's okay.
In other words, I think the counter punchers need a little bit of time to set up their punches, right? They need to see like repetition over and over again, then they'll explode. But if you give them too much to handle, them setting up that counter, that perfect counter, sometimes I guess that'll become less and less if the pressure, like if the opponent keeps bringing the pressure. So it opens up opportunities, but at the same time, it starts to wear on you where, I don't know. I'm just
when Errol Spence was putting pressure on Garcia, for the most part, he was trying to do it from the outside, trying to keep him at the end of his punches. And then every once in a while, he would pick to the body, like you said. He's trying to peck his way, and like he's like chipping away at rock, trying to craft a masterpiece little by little. And then late in the fight, he turns it on. Against Garcia, though, he never really did turn it on. And I don't know if it's like Spence said himself before the actual fight. He said that the reason why he couldn't stop Porter and Mikey Garcia was because he had trouble making the weight. He'd been killing himself to make the weight. So I gotta wonder what's really changed between then and now. Maybe he's no longer. Yeah.
But I think that Errol Spence did do a better job of beating Garcia better than Thurman and Sean Porter. And that by that look on that picture, and as I was watching the fight, I could tell that Danny Garcia was looking a little dejected.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't find the solution. Even in the corner, he realized that for those guys to 100% admit, what happened in a fight, sometimes they don't want to do that, and they did this. They did that in this fight.
That's a good point, man. That's a good point. I mean, so far, Errol Spence done the best job out of Thurman and Porter.
Mr. BDA.
Oh, Jimmy. Yes, please go ahead.
What's going on, man? Can you hear me better now?
Absolutely. Crystal clear, man.
All right. Well, I think the difference with Spence is I believe it was after the Brook fight. Maybe it was after that even. I can't remember the actual time he said it. But he made a comment, which I found kind of shocking. He was champion by then, but he didn't have a nutritionist on board. Like, you know what I mean? So he was probably eating like every other normal knucklehead. Maybe not as like, pizza as often or whatever, but he was just always doing, whatever he normally did to take the weight off. As he got older, he realized getting harder. So he said that he was planning on, I should get those people. He said it in a joking way, but when he said it, he probably meant it. And so if he did hire somebody and they're working on his weight farther out, you know what I mean? Like you work on your weight the 6 to 8 weeks prior to training camp and you just work on your skills then. And if he's not drinking, that could be a big difference too. Or if he's cut back, because nothing put fat on you like drinking. So I think that could be a big reason that he's still hanging in 147. Because unless he did do that, I don't see how he could have made it without just tearing himself up.
Jimmy, we're going to be doing a comparative analysis within the next couple of minutes. When we decide who's got the best jab, best right hand, blah, blah,
yes,
blah.
Yes.
But if I think you said this last episode, are you picking Ugas for the upset in this one?
I'm really still leaning towards the upset special. Yeah.
Very interesting. Now, could you elaborate?
I don't know. Sometimes just a thing. I think Ugas, I like the way he looked. He looked solid in his videos. You know what I mean? I don't know if you saw the Showtime fight Saturday night. They did a little spot on them. I don't know. I just like the things he said. I like the look in his eyes. He looked focused. He was in that big fight, so he has the big fight feel, recently. And even though it was a shell of Manny Pacquiao, it was still a shell of Manny Pacquiao is better than most people he's going to fight. So, you know what I mean? Most people at the PBC is going to have his welterweights take on, and he beat him. So he's confident. He's the champion. But just because he wins the fight or beats him doesn't mean he's going to get the decision. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be he's going to have to beat him soundly or stop him to get the decision. I really believe. I mean, they're gonna spot Spence 3 rounds. You know what I mean? He'll be down on the couch when they're singing the national anthem. So because he's the money, he's the name in the PBC. And I mean, there's too much history with the PBC. I mean, Gervonta Davis, they wanted Barrios as a he was greenlit. That was the guy they were going to go for. They talked about it. They mentioned his name. Then he fights that Adamov, remember? And absolutely lost the fight. Got like outlanded by 126 punches, like got beat the fuck up. And he got the PBC special because he needed that win in order to, artificially be jumped up the standings.
Right.
Into the top 10, which he made top 9, so he, they can say he's fighting a top 10 fighter, which he wasn't. And so yeah, no, and they manipulate as well as anybody, and because they have always fights too. And I don't know, they don't have them in Vegas. They always, which is weird. They always have them in either New York or Texas. And this one is where's this one gonna be, in Texas, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so Spence in Texas under the PBC banner. Yeah, no, Ugas is going to have to fucking beat the dog snot out of him to win.
Arlington,
a decision.
Texas. Arlington, Texas. That's where it's going to be. Well, listen, hopefully that's not the case. Then again, we saw Lubin was up on all 3 scorecards against Fundora, and most people had Fundora maybe not comfortably ahead, but yeah, ahead. So, by the way,
Fundora was the head of that fight. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No question.
I got to ask you, though, before we get down to the comparative analysis, and by the way, fellas, don't forget to hit the like. Really appreciate it. What's this? And I'm putting it on the screen here. Errol Spence recently tweeted out, PBC needs to take the L out of Lover. What does that mean? It was very cryptic.
Over?
Yeah, but what's it? Is that a dig at the PBC or what's going on?
PBC, maybe it's some brain damage. I don't know, from the car accident.
Yeah, that would explain it, man. I mean, Jimmy, you got any insight on this? I mean, why Lover?
Yeah, no, not at all. L out of Lover. I was trying to think it was a pun or a play on somebody's name. But yeah, no, that's obviously an inside joke right at the PBC, which sucks because you don't know. No, I don't know. I have no idea what that could possibly be, actually.
Well, it's just
strange.
Yeah, I was just trying. Gonzalo says it's got to do something with the fucking car accident. Yeah, sounds about right there. All right, let's get to this comparative analysis, man. Let's get right down to it. Should we open up the phone? Are people going to be calling in to comment on that, you guys think? Or should we save the phone lines for later? Or I don't know how to hold this up.
Whatever you want to do, brother.
Well, let me ask you guys, let me know. You want us to open up the phone lines now? And that way we can take calls while we do the comparative analysis here, or you guys tell me. Meanwhile, let's get into it, because usually when we do this comparative analysis, we spend 3 hours on it, fighting over who has the better jab. So let's try to do it right now, and we'll see from then on how we do it. Can you guys see what I'm sharing here on the screen? It's imperative that you... All right. Gonzalo?
Yeah, I clicked on there right now. Yeah, okay, it's on the screen, yeah.
All right, fantastic. All right, so you guys know how it works. We got to pick who has a better hand speed, power, blah, blah, blah. So let's get right down to it. This is Errol Spence, Yordenis Ugas. Who's got the better hand speed?
Better.
Come on.
I would say, Jesus Christ, man. They're pretty much the same with the hand speed.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say Ugas, he's a counter puncher, so he'll explode right after you're done throwing. And Errol Spence, since he's consistently throwing, I think Ugas might have a little bit more explosion. So I'm just going to say Ugas slightly.
Jimmy?
Yeah, because we don't want to do, you don't want to do ties, right? Try to avoid those. So I'll lean towards Ugas too for the counter punching.
Well, the hand speed, I agree.
He's more explosive, so I would just say that, chalk it up to hand speed.
I mean, even Derek James said Spence is a slower guy. He's more of a pick you down, wear you down type of guy. He's not an explosive fighter like Thurman, Crawford, or even Ugas at this point. I think Ugas... See, it's interesting. If you compare and contrast the Ugas Porter fight to the Spence Porter fight, Ugas actually, with his quick trigger, actually made Porter fight a little bit more reserved. Whereas when Porter fought Spence, he wasn't really all that hesitant to get on the inside against Errol Spence, which is surprising because you would think Errol Spence is a better inside fighter than Ugas. But Ugas has quicker hands, so that sort of got Porter's respect a little bit more. So I agree with you guys. I think we hand speed. Ugas gets the nod. I'm not saying Ugas is a speed demon like a Thurman or Crawford, but he's definitely quicker than Spence. We'll give him that. All right, let's go to power. Who hits harder?
Yeah, Errol Spence got heavier hands. He's got heavier hands, and he's got 21 knockouts in 26 fights. Hasn't knocked out the last 3, but that's a little bit of mirage, like I mentioned. Those guys got tuck chins. And Ugas, he throws with intentions, but he's not always getting the knockout. So I would say that Errol Spence is heavier handed. Got more power.
Jimmy?
I agree with Spence has got the heavier hands of the two. Ugas, it's usually combinations, accumulated punches that hurts people. It's never with him, it's not the one shot. He's not a one shot guy. Although I don't believe Spence is at the elite level either. I think a lot of his knockouts came against, subpar competition. What happens with a lot of guys who aren't true knockout punches, So, but yes, I still say Bill Spence has the stronger punch.
I agree with you guys. I think Spence. I think would it be fair to say his power is being underrated so far?
No, because man down, like he even said himself, although that hasn't been lately. You know what I mean? Like he cracked a joke at the, because it's been a while, right? It's been a while since hasn't it been Campo back in New York. Right before they put him on the shelf for 11 months. Yeah, I think that was the last person he stopped back in Coney Island, if I'm not mistaken. That was a while ago.
I think the last person he stopped was Ocampo.
Yeah, Ocampo in New York. That was at least 4 years ago, no?
That was in 2018, yeah.
He's solid in the sense that he's not going to try to blast you away with one shot. He's going to reserve that power to spread it out through like the course of a fight. So he'll keep on coming. He's not trying to blast you away with one shot. He's not overcommitting where, he's going to throw that one haymaker that's going to rock you off your feet or knock you out with that intention. No, he's going to throw with the intention to throw the second and the third with the same type of energy. So he's consistently throwing power. And that's a good thing. But sometimes when push comes to shove and you're not getting the knockouts, that's why. Because you didn't go big, I guess, so.
Yeah, man. Listen, at the end of the day, I agree with you guys. I think Ugas Spence has the better power. Maybe not by that much anymore. He's not man down anymore. Although I will say you can hear he's got stiff punches. That's why, but he needs to combine it with good pressure and stamina to be able to maintain that pressure and be able to take guys out. Because so far, hasn't really done it, man. Has not really done it.
And he digs in. He doesn't like I said, he doesn't overcommit, but he has good punch placement, and he really likes to dig in the shot, especially those left hooks to the bodies because he is left-handed, so his left hand doesn't align with the liver. And he knows that. And when he throws that one, he throws it in twos. He throws that left and the right. So he'll belt you with both hands to the body.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's give him the power advantage here to Errol Spence. Ring IQ. Who is the smarter fighter in there? The better ring general, as it were.
Ugas. I think he's better. Got better ring. I just think he's a better schooled fighter. I think he's got excellent technique. But that's not so much ring generalship, but I'm just going to label that as that because I don't see Spence trying to set many traps and, you know what I mean? He's more of just attack. I don't know. I'm just going to go with Ugas. Fuck it.
All right, so Jimmy's pulling the trigger on Ugas. Gonzalo, what do you say?
Ring IQ. Ring generalship, yeah. Errol Spence is pretty thorough. What he does good, he does really, really well. What he does well, he does really good. Whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's pretty equal. Ugas has lost 4 times, so that brings a lot of experience. He's learned a lot. When you lose, you learn. Errol Spence hasn't. I would just have to say that they're both Olympians. Yordenis Ugas for Cuba and this guy for the United States. World champions, left-handers, rangy. I was just gonna have to say the Cuban.
You know, it's interesting because most people in the chat are going with Ugas. Now, somebody could look at that and go, well, how are you guys crazy? How, like, he doesn't have the same type of wins as Spence. But I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. He beat Delorme. He beat Ray Robinson. So he can beat that level of contenders. What's his name? Ramos. No, not Ramos.
Abel Ramos.
Abel Ramos. Yeah, thank you, Gonzalo. Abel Ramos. He went toe-to-toe with, in terms of the scorecards against Porter, really made it competitive. Some people say he should have won. And then he beats the great Manny Pacquiao. I don't think it's so crazy to compare his ring IQ to Spence's and maybe even come out saying, hey, look, I think he's a superior ring general. I don't think it's as crazy as some people might think. So I'm going to go ahead and agree with you guys and with the majority of the people in the chat. I'm going to say, yeah.
No, and I also agree with Gonzalo. Losing, you learn a lot from losing. He did too, because if I'm not mistaken, didn't he lose his first 2 fights? He come out of Cuba by his own admission with a big head, and he didn't do it serious. Did he actually quit boxing? Top rank, they cut him. Like he lost his first fight, they cut him loose.
And by the way, he hit a rough patch. He looked like he was going to be and never was, but then he pulled himself up by his bootstraps and got on that good winning streak. In fact, if they would have given him the fight against Porter, which they could have, he'd be on an undefeated run since 2016, I think. Oh, let me check.
Yeah, I gave him that fight. I thought he beat Porter that night. I thought he landed the better punches.
Yeah, he's been on a winning streak since 2016 when he started. And listen, after he lost to, hold on, let me put it here on the screen so you guys can see his record. So he lost against Amir Imam, who, if you remember at the time, was considered the next big thing, right? Everyone was losing their shit over Amir Imam before he lost to Granados. So Ugas loses to Imam. They put him in there against another undefeated fighter, Jamal James. Probably thought, hey, let's feed this guy to an undefeated fighter, boost up his record. And whoops, what happened? Ugas pulled off the upset. Pulls off the upset against another undefeated guy in Brian Perella. Then he goes on a winning streak, goes through Delorme, Robinson, Sean Porter. That's the fight he lost, but it was very close. Beats another undefeated guy in Figueroa. Beats Abel Ramos, and then beats the great Manny Pacquiao. Of course, an older version. We do have to preface that. But still, man, I mean, this guy's good. You pick against him at your own peril, right? That's the way it's looking like here.
Yeah, it's an underrated resume. It's the guys in the middle are better than the guys in the middle that Errol Spence fought, like the Ocampos of the world. I mean, he's got better names. Maybe not the top tier like all the time, like a Manny Pacquiao, but yeah, the Sean Porter win, that he lost.
I will say Ocampo just recently fought here in Montreal, well, not in Montreal, in Quebec against Zuzki, Mikhail Zuzki, and really had his way with the guy. So it's interesting. But Ocampo looked stronger than he did against Spence. So I don't know what type of chemicals he's been ingesting, if any. But you're right, Gonzalo. Ugas has an underrated record. So when we say that he has superior ring IQ to Spence, don't get it twisted, guys. Don't think that we're saying that he's that much smarter, he's a genius, and Spence isn't. We're just saying we're giving him the edge on this one. Just because we choose one guy over the other doesn't necessarily mean the other guy is a complete moron when it comes to the characteristic we're talking about. So just keep that in mind, because I know,
Yeah, and like counter punchers, I'm thinking about Marquez too. He lost, I think, his first 2, then he came back. You know, there comes a point in time where they have to decide that they really have to turn it up, because although they're savvy and they don't want to make a lot of mistakes or waiting for you to make a mistake first, you have to be aggressive. So I think he's learned that. He's savvy, obviously, because he's a boxer, like in the sense that he's a counter puncher. Once you make a mistake, he'll capitalize off that. But not just that on that alone are you always going to win. You have to be an aggressive counter puncher like Marcus, and he's showing that, that he'll pick it up when he needs to.
Absolutely, man. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it might come down to that. It might come down to who's smarter, and it might be Spence who shows us that he's smarter. You never know, man. But for now, most people here on this panel and in the chat are saying Ugas by a slight margin, not by a lot. Here's another tough one. Who has the better experience, the better resume?
I'm gonna say, Jimmy, do you want to go first?
No, you beat him to it, man. It's a long
Yeah,
jungle
no,
over
yeah,
here.
Gonzalo, you go.
Yeah, I don't want to like cut you off intentionally.
Jimmy's
Yeah,
following the trigger
experience.
now.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna chalk it up particularly to the last fight, which Ugas fought another left-hander in preparation to fight another left-hander in Spence. I'm just gonna have to say the experience, since he just fought Pacquiao, brings what he needs to the table in this fight, because they're pretty much like equal in experience in general. With the with the resume that you just mentioned, that it's a little underrated for Ugas, kind of sheds light a little bit on that they're kind of equal in those terms. Yeah, Ugas is lost, but that also brings experience. And Errol Spence being undefeated, I mean, that tells you that he's that good also. So, I mean, they're kind of equal. And I'm just going to say Ugas, by experience, in relation to his last opponent, who was a left-hander that he beat in Manny Pacquiao.
Huh. All right. That's that. All right. You're going with Ugas, Jimmy? All right. Jimmy's MIA right now. Listen.
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Because the show just dropped. Okay. I would see it's okay. So they both fought Porter. I mean, DSG. I mean, come on. That I don't know. Ugastaki, whatever his name is, just about at his level at one point. I don't know. I would just see. He fought Pacquiao, man. Even a shell of a Pacquiao is better than anybody Spence has fought. So Spence has probably fought a handful of better guys, maybe, but he didn't fight Thurman either. But I'm telling you, I really like Gonzalo. I put a lot of weight in. He fought Pacquiao. Because old Pacquiao or not, still a tough out. So, can we do a 50-50 on that? Because I really don't think. I don't think. Okay, no, okay. I'm going to say right now, experience, because the last fight was he fought recently. So for that, experience doesn't mean the better resume. It's just who's more experienced. I'm going to look at it that way. And right now, I'm going to go with Ugas. Booyah.
Yeah, maybe I fucked up here a little bit, because I should have asked. Forget about necessarily the resume, but because if we go with experience, then you could go all the way back to the amateur and say, well, who's been fighting since they were younger? I guess we're gonna have to say experience plus resume. I don't know, guys, man. I can't. If it's 2 against 1, then we have to go with that. But let me try to convince one of you. Maybe I can sway you my way. Spence, we've got the Brook win, the Chris Algieri win, Porter, and Danny Garcia. That's 4 solid wins right there. Ugas, a lot of B-level competition. We're talking, Ray Robinson, Ramos. He didn't beat Porter. And he's got that super big win over Pacquiao, which is, better name, but then again, it was a 40-year-old Pacquiao. I got to give the slight edge to Spence, man.
Yeah, and although I don't rate Chris fucking Canvasback Algieri, but yeah, no, you're right. If we're counting resume and right now, let's give it to him, Gonzalo. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give it to him by giving it to, but so I'm gonna go right with Spence. Right now, he convinced me.
Errol Spence got a lot of experience, but if you're gonna say, does he have experience against a left-hander? Like just recently, where Ugas fought Pacquiao, a left-hander, in preparation for another left-hander. I'm just saying that, man, dude, this guy he brings that experience. But no, man, I see what you guys are saying. So yeah, we'll go with Errol Spence Jr.
Whoa, I convinced you. Whoa, that's.
I mean,
that's. I'm amazed that I was able to do it. Usually, I'm not I wouldn't be a good cult leader. So I'm actually, because I've tried to start my own cult and it didn't work out. So I'm gonna. All right, now, but I think it's a good. I think Spence, you get again. We're not saying Ugas' resume is trash, but we're saying just Spence, by virtue of the fact that he's been fighting at the top level for a little bit longer and getting those wins undefeated, we're gonna give it to him. So let's move on to. Hold on a second. So experience there, we give it to Spence. Footwork. Who has the better footwork?
Ugas.
Gonzalo? Well, I'm
That's
not sure
pretty
if you went.
50-50 too. Errol Spence moves in feet in unison with his upper body. So basically, he's always inching into position to throw his combinations. So I mean, he's got good footwork where it's pretty ring generalship wise. He controls his feet. He controls his feet very well. So that's a reflection of having good footwork. It's not always about being on the tip of your toes, you know, and being like this back foot fighter where he's got fast feet. Because really, man, tell me which fucking guys that get on the back foot or like always jumping on their toes have a lot of success. That's a little bit overrated, man. Some of the best fighters really plant their feet on the canvas to throw their power. It's just how good are you of closing that distance. If it's not running, it's walking an opponent down. So, I mean, Ugas, is he all over the place with his feet when he throws? No, he's got pretty good footwork too. He's counter puncher. He's inching back, creating separation. So I'm just going to have to say, for me, I think it's Errol Spence.
Gonzalo, that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point because people think footwork, like somebody here at Real Talk says, Ugas doesn't even move his feet. Wow. Well, see, that's the thing, though. I understand why people think that a lot of movement equals good footwork, but Sergio Martinez used to move around a lot. I mean, he was getting dropped almost every other fight. So, like Gonzalo said, it's not about how often you move. Are your feet planted correctly when you throw? Are they always planted correctly? Are you always on balance? Are you on equilibrium? How often do you get dropped? Do you know when to move when you have to? And be in the ring, in the position in the ring that you want to at all times? That's good footwork. And you know, most people would say, well, neither guy really moves around that much. But hey, that doesn't mean that they don't have good footwork. If they know where they are at all times and when they want and get there when they want to, that's good footwork. So, man, this is a hard one, man. Because
Ugas, that's the excellent point, Speedy. Yeah, I think Errol Spence got more educated feet. Yeah, his feet are more educated in my opinion.
Jimmy, you wanna? I don't know who to pick in this one, man.
Oh, I thought I was off mute. Right when you said it, I said Ugas. To me, that's the one I'm pretty solid on right off the rip. I think he's got really good feet. I think he's got great balance.
Because you know what? Both guys.
What I mean?
Yeah, both guys don't move around a lot. They like to stay in front of their opponent, and then when their opponent tries to counter, they take a little step back and then step right in. Like Garcia did that against. Spence did that against both Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia, and Ugas did it very well against Porter and against Pacquiao. He was able to control those guys who are very explosive with footwork. So, all right, Jimmy's saying Ugas.
Power. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't use his power; he uses footwork. Where Spence will keep people on his foot. Sorry, Gonzalo, go.
Oh no, sorry, Jimmy.
No. I was stepping all over you, brother. Finish your thought.
Like what you said, it's true. They both got good balance because when like Errol, and mind you, Ugas goes to the body too. They're both left-handers. When they go to the body, they'll usually throw in pairs. So that means when you throw like a left and you're there to throw that right, and when you're throwing that left, you don't get off balance. You're throwing two punches because you got good balance. Or maybe you'll throw one punch, and then if you get off balance, you'll put yourself back into balance by throwing that right. But you see that where a lot of fighters don't do that too often, where they're throwing body shots in twos. And with power, I mean, you can usually throw one good hook, but can you throw the other? It's you have to develop that type of a punching ability. But in order to do that, you have to have a good core and good footwork. And I think Errol Spence and Yordenis Ugas, they possess that, but I'm just gonna have to say, Errol Spence, man. He's very, very educated feet.
All right, so you're saying Errol Spence. Jimmy says Ugas. So I suppose it's up to me to be the tiebreaker here. Fuck, I don't know, man. Because again, it's only if I say Ugas, for example, some people are gonna say, but BDA, who has he used that footwork against? The fact that he was able to control Pacquiao with that footwork, though, or partly with that footwork, is a major point for me for choosing Ugas. But Spence got good footwork too, man. He's never been dropped, as far as I know. He's always on balance too, for the most part. But we can't. Yeah,
he's elite. He's got quality. He's definitely got quality footwork, Spence. But I think Ugas has just got a little better. I think he just places his feet better, and when he's in a groove, the way he turns on people, just turns them and he throws his combinations smoother. Yeah, no, definitely footwork for me. That was the one I was going to be pretty much on Ugas side right from the get-go.
But Ugas, did he get dropped against? Who did he get dropped against? Somebody in the chat room, if somebody knows who dropped Ugas? Somebody dropped him, I think. That could be the tiebreaker for me, depending on the answer. Start a poll beat. Zion says start a poll BDA. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that, man. How do I start a poll here on this fucker?
What, did he get punched in the legs?
What?
No, I said, did he get punched in the legs?
No.
Because you said if you get knocked out, I'm like, yeah, no, footwork. I'm just thinking of it as, when I say footwork, I think of balance and how you throw your combinations and are you ready when you're done. You don't have to constantly reset. And just, little things like that. I just think he has excellent footwork. I think he moves around people well. When he moves, his feet are always in that. I see Spence drags his foot back. He does the drag a lot. You'll see him, he'll hop, kind of step forward and then kind of drag that back. Step forward with the front foot, drag his back. Where you see Ugas a lot of times, like the Pavel, keep his feet in that same 3-foot space. And he just moves it all in one motion.
All right, well, listen.
Got really good footwork.
I started a poll in the chat. Who has the better footwork? So we're gonna wait to see what people say. So far, 61%. Oh shit, it's changing. 57% are going with Spence. 43% saying Ugas. All right, it's changing. It's 59% Spence, 40% Ugas. All right, so in order to save time here and not spend too much time, we're gonna go with Spence. All right, we're gonna go with Spence. But again, the fact that we had to spend so much time here means it's not a given. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. Hey, maybe Ugas proves proves you guys wrong on Saturday. I don't know. Hey, shout out to Medardo Garcia for his contribution with the super chat. He says, do you guys think Spence is healthy enough with everything that has happened to him? Well, see, now that's an interesting question right there. What do you guys think? Do you think he's the same? Do you think he's going to slow down? Or do you expect him to go in there and look slow a little bit?
Yes, I expect him not to look sharp. How can he? He hasn't, when's the last time he's been fought? When was the last time he's fought? How long?
Almost 2 years, man.
Yeah, his timing's going to be off. I don't care how many times he's sparred. He's going to need to work, because he's so good as a boxer that he'll be able to come around. But it's just common sense. If he was fighting 3-4 times a year, he'd be sharp as a motherfucker. But he's not going to be. There's a reason why great fighters fought often. You don't fight 2 years out of the ring that's like coming out of retirement crazy from the boxing I grew up with. That's nuts. So yeah, no, without a doubt, that's going to affect him.
Well, man, it's going to be a shame if it really if it affects him that much. But I mean, I don't know, man. He looks in shape, but like I said in the beginning of the show, just because you look in shape, it's one thing to look good physically, and it's another thing to actually be in boxing shape. So that's what we're going to see from Errol Spence this Saturday. So shout out to Medardo for his question. Actually, Gonzalo, I think I already asked you this, but if you want to maybe evaluate what you said or repeat what you said.
About what, BDA?
About
you just asked?
About Spence. Is Spence going to be the same?
The thing with him, yeah, he seems like to be like he's kind of bullheaded, like one-track minded. So that's kind of a bad thing sometimes, but it's also a good thing because he's that seek and destroy. His style is pretty defined. What I mean is defined. It doesn't mean that it's simple or that it's easily beatable just because you know what he's trying to do. But when he gets on that seek and destroy type of mentality, he can just be very redundant and bullheaded and keep doing what his intentions are to do. He can persist on that and he can just have success because he already knows what he wants to do. He's it's very easy for him to define what his intentions in the ring. So if he gets on that, he can have success because all he have to do is get the cobwebs out of the way and start smoking. So once he gets in there and starts when he starts smoking, I mean, yeah, he's got it down, man. Just keep insisting, pressure, bust pipes.
Yeah, it's like pressure bust pipes. It's like we said about Golovkin last week. If he has something ready or something left in the tank, he should beat Morata. And I think it's almost the same thing with Errol Spence a little bit. It depends on what he's got left. That's the big X factor coming into this one. All right, so let's keep going here with this.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4.
Sorry about that, because I'm opening up the phone lines. All right, so we said foot movement. We gave it to Spence. Let's go to chin. Who has the better chin?
Spence.
Yeah, Spence. I saw Abelito Ramos. He shook Ugas in the last round. I thought Ugas was going to go down, and I think he's been down before. I was watching some highlights, and this guy by the last name of Barrera, he caught Errol Spence pretty good, but Errol Spence shook it off immediately and knocked out this Barrera guy under Nacho Berenstein, the coach. And he's been hit before, I think, by Leonard Bundu, but he kind of like he was able to get past that. Like he didn't really like look that bothered. So I mean, he's got a good chin. He's tough.
Yeah, and you know what? I should, because we never changed this from the last time we did it. But I don't. I think instead of chin, we should go with endurance. Who can endure more punishment? And I think at this point, it's clear that it's Spence. Ugas, it seems to me like there's a little give in him, especially in that figure.
Well, that would be stamina, right? The conditioning.
Well, that too, yeah. But endurance also could mean like, can you take it to the body? Because people technically chin. We're talking about a specific part of the anatomy here. You know, if you get hit in the temple, the chin, the body, some guys can take it to the body. So I think we should change it to endurance in the future. But for right now, yeah, I think overall Spence takes a better punch. So we're gonna give it.
And you could also look at it just overall physical conditioning too. Right now, Spence, and again, I mean, 2 years out of the ring is huge. I just can't get past that. There's just never been a fighter. Name a fighter who's had come back after 2 years. I don't care if they're in their physical prime and looked as good as they did before they took 2 years out of the ring. Right. Usually they want 2 and 3 warm-ups. You know what I mean? Like Wood, before, he wanted at least 2 warm-ups because he's like, I've been out of the ring for 2 years. You know what I mean? So I can't see how that's not going to affect him. It's just, will that ring rust be enough on the combination of coming out of that eye surgery? He's got that long stick jab, Ugas. He's pretty accurate with it when he throws it. And he's going to work on that eye. Obviously, he's going to target it. Is that going to be in Spence's mind? Is he going to be trying to, you know what I mean, change his defense to protect his eye? And then if he's thinking about it, he's not reacting. You never want to think in there. Everything should be 100% reaction. So, a lot of parables.
With the chin thing, I would have to say with the styles, I was mentioning that he's got a defined style. A guy that comes forward like him, that's a pretty good indication that he's got a good chin, because who's going to walk into another person's wheelhouse knowing that you're putting yourself in danger where you don't, where you have to comprehensively understand that, like, you have to rely on your chin and know that you possess a good chin in order to walk into that the enemy's territory. So I think, he's understood that in style. It's well defined. He got a good chin come forward. Even against Danny Garcia, who's heavy-handed and got a good chin himself, he's going to walk in and try to beat you down, knowing that the other guy's going to get his shot off too. And with the counterpunchers, maybe just like, I'm a little hesitant, a little dubious, tentative to exchange, waiting for you to make a mistake first, then explode on you and get the hell out of Dodge, because maybe my chin is a little iffy. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I think, he relies on his chin and he knows it.
Yep,
so
that's a good
Errol
point.
Spence got a better chin.
You guys are absolutely right. The chin gives you good confidence. Also, it could be your downfall if you expect your chin to protect you, and I don't need to protect myself. My chin's going to do it for me. Then that, like I said, Paul Williams, the aforementioned Paul Williams, he ended up taking a big shot against Martinez that he didn't see coming, and boom, it was lights out. In terms of stamina, who has the better stamina?
Jesus.
Well, of course, Jesus, but I mean, in terms of these both these guys, who
I think Errol Spence, he's just suspect because he's older and he's having to cut down to 47 and couldn't knock out Mikey Garcia. But at the same time, his style is just pressure. consistent. So it might appear that Ugas, he might have greater stamina because he conserves his energy more. That he's only going to open up after you throw, basically. So he's not consistently shelling out his stamina. And so, like, if you're always using your stamina because you're throwing a lot of punches like Errol Spence, obviously you're going to get more tired. But yeah, you have a lot of it, so you're using it a lot. But then, like, if you're Ugas, you might have some, but you're not always using it, so you're conserving it more. So in reality, who ends up more tired by the end of the fight? It might be Errol Spence, but in that gas tank, I think that Errol Spence has more of it. That's why he applies the pressure. I know I did a soup salad and I was all over the place, but
no, it's
you get my drift up in.
Yeah, it's that soup salad is good. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, before we continue, man, let's somebody's calling in here, so don't forget, fellas, the phone lines are open. I pinned the phone number in the chat, so you guys can just click on it and call in. Let's go to, hold on a second, let me unmute this. Yeah, 207, you're on the air. 207, what's on your mind?
Hey, BDA, shout out to the panel, shout out to the chat, shout out to this fight. This is the biggest fight this year, BDA. This is the biggest fight on, this side of the pond. You have a lot of listeners on the other side, but, for the Grand USA, this is the biggest fight of the year. And I'm really looking forward to it, BDA.
Well, yeah, so far it's one of the biggest fights for sure, man, in terms of, at least on paper. It's what we wanted to see. At least two top three fighters in the world fighting each other in the welterweight division. Matt Chad, I'm curious, man. Who do you think wins this one?
Oh, I'm Team Spence. I think Spence is looking great. This is the first time in his career that he's had a nutritionist and a cook. We've seen him hit the bag, like you say. A pitcher you can't judge a book by the cover. But you can judge by someone hitting the bag, and he hits the bag like a light heavyweight. I thought back in the day, I thought maybe him and Canelo would hook up at 160. And believe me, Ugas is no Canelo. He's a pillow-fisted Cuban that fights an English style. He fights very Europeanish. He doesn't fight. No, he ain't. Yes, he is Cuban, but he doesn't fight the Cuban style. He's really straight up. He's really meat and potatoes. He's meat and potatoes for Errol. Errol does everything better. I know you got the checklist there, but Errol's faster. Errol's got a quicker punch. Errol hits harder. Errol's got better stamina, better footwork, better body puncher. I don't think you got body puncher on your stats, but Errol's a vicious body puncher with a chin of granite. Errol hit his face off the pavement at 180 miles per hour, got up with some broken teeth. I mean, this kid's special. Ugas is in for a ton of fucking pain at a full throat Texas stadium. I mean, Texas is going to be full throat. I mean, boxing. This is the biggest fight in America today, fellas. And this is a man that beat Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, you can say Manny was past it and all, but he beat Manny, and he's there. He's got Salas, but this is Spence with a chip on his shoulder. I see the inactivity, BDA, but I see a hungry young lion with a chip on his shoulder in the tip-top shape of his life to dismantle Yordenis Ugas.
Oh, well, there you have it. Matt Chad saying Spence is going to be too much for the Cuban. Matt Chad, we got to move on to another phone call, but thanks again for calling in. Thanks again for having me on.
Thank you, BDA. Thank you, brother.
Thanks again for having me on earlier. And everyone go check out Matt Chad's Matt Tavern, which is his YouTube channel. Very interesting. He's got everybody on their open panel. Everyone can join. He doesn't discriminate. So, fellas, go check out Matt Chat's YouTube channel. All right? Shout out to Matt Chat for his calling in. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 978. You're on the air. 978. What's on your mind?
Hey, BDA,
Boston.
how you doing? It's Dennis calling from Boston. How are you, buddy?
Dennis, how are you, man? Thank you for calling in, man. What's on your mind?
Doing great. Yeah, I just wanted to call. I wanted to ask you if you saw the Showtime has an all-access show that they put out for the fights, and I was wondering if you saw part one of that.
I did indeed see part 1, but I didn't see the second part. But part 1, I definitely checked that out, yeah.
On part 1, I don't know if maybe Jimmy saw it. If on part 1, during the interview, they were interviewing Spence, and he said, I really contemplated retirement, but I didn't want, after my eye surgery, but I didn't want my kids to think their dad was a quitter. I'd love to spend more time here at my farm with my horses and all shit like that. Right away, right there, I was like, that shows like a less desire to me, just the way the interview went. And he might have been having a bad day or whatever, however he was saying it, but that right there stuck out to me. What do you think?
Jimmy, what do you think? Did you hear that comment there from Errol Spence?
If a fighter says something like that.
Oh yeah, right. He's made that comment before. He's talked about it. Remember that tweet he actually sent out? I could retire right now. Yeah, he.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Christ, somebody just sent that. Yeah, he just. Christ, it was right after the accident. He tweeted out, he'd be fine with retiring right now.
Interesting.
So that told me, I was saying to myself, that's usually something. When you're talking like that, you're already close.
Yeah, and you know what? We haven't even touched on that. The eye. I think that's a big question, much bigger question than whether he's going to have enough stamina or whatever. The eye, is that eye going to hold up?
Yeah, just the desire. Is that desire to be there on this level?
Well, listen, we're going to see. Listen, Dennis, we're going to move on because there's a lot of noise on your end, a lot of background noise, but call back if you during the show if you can, all right, man? When you're in a quieter place.
All right, brother. Have a good one, guys. Take care.
Thanks again. Thank you. Thank you for calling in.
Take it easy, brother.
Yeah, we haven't even touched on that. By the way, thank you guys for calling in. The phone number's right there, and it's pinned in the chat room. And don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. What about the eye, man? Because he had to pull out of the Pacquiao fight because of the eye, which appears to have already been damaged after the accident. Well, what do you guys think? Is he playing with fire at this point?
Well, not necessarily. You could, if they have it, and it's been enough time has gone by, so I could see it being fine. But then again, it plays on the back of your mind that you had a surgery. I mean, that's a weird thing, having your eye, But I don't know. It could be a psychological thing, I would think, more than anything else. Some guys just don't give a shit, you know what I mean? They don't care. But other guys, they just they really care if they're getting jacked up. Okay, right here, Spence. This was December 20th. I'm sorry, December 14th, 2020. Tell you the truth, I could retire after my accident and been good. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Good time, not a long time. I mean...
Yep.
That sounds like a guy that doesn't give a fuck. I'm telling you, Jimmy, you just said, hey, some people don't give a fuck. I think that's Errol Spence. He doesn't give a fuck about the eye. In fact, I think somebody just said, one of the callers or somebody in the chat said that he was willing to fight Pacquiao even after the diagnosis with the eye. And then, of course, you see how he drives. This is a guy that's living on the wild side.
Yeah, he's pretty determined. So
that's one word.
That's a good quality to have. When he fought Garcia, I picked up on the fact that he got some on the cheek, right next to the eye. I think it must have been that eye, but he had some damage to the skin. He got a cut. So I mean, was that the eye that was injured? I think it was. But now that he's facing a left-hander, he might not catch as much punches on that side of the face like he did against a right-hander and Danny Garcia. I don't know, maybe. Or he might be able to protect himself just a little better.
Well, it's his right eye, right? It's his right eye, no?
Yeah, that's his left eye.
It's the right, Gonzalo.
Oh, that's the right eye. Yes, that's the right eye. Sorry. Yeah, that's the right eye. So he probably can guard himself against left hands pretty good, but against right hands, he was probably catching them right hands by Danny Garcia because he got cut on that side, I believe.
Right. And when's the last time he's fought a southpaw of his length, almost the same dimensions as him?
You talking about Ugas?
Spence.
Spence, I think the last time he fought a southpaw was Vanderheen, right? I think. The guy that's going to be fighting Conor Ben this Saturday, Van Herdeen. He's got a Dutch name. He sounds like a Dutch lord.
Van Herden, I think Leonard Bandu was left-hander too, no?
Oh yeah, but Jimmy said his length or about his length.
Yeah, okay.
Well, about the same length, and because if he's also a southpaw too, right, Spence?
Yeah.
So he's going to be leaning forward, his right foot forward, his right eye out. So you know what I mean? That's his lead eye, and if he's fighting another southpaw, could snap that. He could target that eye. And Ugas has got a pretty accurate jab.
Yeah, man. Ugas has a very good. Yeah. He used it to control Pacquiao. So we're gonna be seeing. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens there, man. With whether if it turns into a battle of the jabs, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. All right, let's go to a phone call here. Let's go to 773. You're on the air. 773. What's on your mind?
40 years old, unification bout against an Olympic gold medalist, champion. There's no one done it like it. Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. He came out, he had a slow start, he weathered the storm, and he broke him down, finished him.
Hey, Kevin, you want to get with the program here? You want to get with the program? We're talking about Errol Spence versus Ugas, man.
Oh, Ugas. You know what he did? He ducked that young champion. What's his name? Yordenis. He ducked him because it's a dangerous fight against a no-name. So he said, hey, I'm going to go in and collect this payday against Spence. And he's pretty much calling it a day. He's going to go in there, get beat down by Spence, get that big paycheck. It might as well, because he's going to get beat down by Yordenis anyways. That's a fact. That is a fact.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, I don't know, but I don't follow the ins and outs of the back door there. Who's avoiding who? By the way, hold on a second. People in the chat room are saying, did you guys say? Did one of you guys say that Ugas is a southpaw? Because I think people are saying that's what they heard. So one of you say.
I believe Ugas is southpaw, no?
No, Gonzalo. Ugas is a right-hander.
Oh, I might have fucked up and said that, not thinking.
Well, anyway, just to get that, just to clarify that, yeah.
I might have been trying to. Yeah, I might have been trying to. I've been thinking Spence and said.
All right. You know well, let's go back to Kevin now that we got that straightened out. Kevin, yeah. So you were saying?
Yeah, let's get back to Kevin.
I think Ugas. Uga. I think it's some Hawaiian chant. Ugas. As far as Ugas goes, yeah, I just think Yordenis was next in line. I guess he took step-aside money or something. But I was really looking forward to Yordenis getting his shot. I just don't think we can say too much about that Manny Pacquiao one. How old is Manny Pacquiao? I just don't know. I don't know how much we could say about it. But if he goes in there and beats Spence, that will shock me. I will be shocked. I think that's,
hey, but Kevin, he's gonna fight Stanionis. He's gonna be fighting Butaev, and it's not a given that he get past Butaev. What do you think about that?
Who is he fighting?
Butaev is taking on Stanionis. I mean, Stanionis taking on Butaev.
Oh yeah. That's a dude. That's another tough fighter too. That's a dude who went tooth and nail with the dude who popped for steroids.
Yeah, what was his name again? The fuck, what was the guy? His name Rasputin. No, Besputin. Yeah, Besputin. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough. I haven't really watched that fight. That was a really good fight. Yeah, that's the thing. These young, hungry lions. Anybody can beat them on any given night. So we'll see what happens. I'll leave you to it though.
All right. There's Kevin. Kevin, thank you for your call with his signature mouth fart at the end there. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 310.
Okay, just to set the record. So, okay, sorry, Billy. Go ahead.
Yeah, 310. You're on the air. 310. What's on your mind?
What's up, guys? Boom Boom Guy, LDBC. And yeah, man, it's a good time for boxing. This is a good fight. You guys are forgetting to mention, I know you guys mentioned the torn retina from Errol Spence.
Uh-huh.
And the long layoff. He had a long layoff. Ugas was a fill-in for Errol Spence to fight Pacquiao. And you guys forget to mention that Ugas injured his bicep, his left bicep, 3 weeks before the Pacquiao fight. So even though Pacquiao was old, I give props to Ugas for beating old Pacquiao, with a torn left bicep. So here's the thing. Errol Spence straight up, without the car accident, without the layoff, it's not even close. Errol Spence would have walked through Ugas. But since with the layoff and the suspect eye, which I think he can do a good job of not taking too many shots to the eye, he has good movement. And just seeing his training videos, man, Errol's back. Errol is back. It's not even, I do suspect the eye, but then with the torn left bicep from Ugas, because you can go read the articles, Ugas didn't throw many punches with his left against Pacquiao. So everyone kind of knew that he was injured in that fight, but he pulled out with the win, so he's no bum. This guy is, if he beats Errol, it's a big upset. Don't get me wrong. Errol Spence is supposed to win this and hopefully go on to fight Crawford. But Errol's going to have to come and fight, and I like his training videos, and yeah, that's all I got to say about it. Ugas is a big favorite, Errol is a big favorite, but Ugas isn't anybody to sleep on.
Yeah. Now, do you think, what's his name? Do you think Spence is going to fight him the way he fought Danny Garcia, or you think he's going to try to pressure, depending on what he feels there, the way he did against Kell Brook?
Well, this is the only question. He's been out 2 years. We don't know what he's going to do, we don't know how hurt his eye is. I think he's all right if he's coming back, to fight, but I don't know whether he has to protect the eye or not. So he might win decision just by playing it safe, or he might go for the knockout. I'm not sure. But Ugas isn't a bum, dude. He's not on Errol Spence's level. We're looking past him for the Errol Spence Crawford fight.
Yeah, well, that's what they're going to fight on Saturday, man, to see who the best is and to prove it in the ring, man, which is all we can ask for. That's what we ask for. Yeah, go ahead.
BDA, I was going to say, I don't think Ugas tore his bicep. I think he had a bicep injury, but I don't think it was a tear. That's a major, major injury. I've seen those. That turns your whole chest blue. It's gross. From your elbow to your fucking neck. It's a bad injury.
Did you see the pictures?
I doubt you'd be able to fight.
I'm not. It might.
Well, yeah.
I gotta get out of here, but I just wanted to come in and say that. But yeah, thank you guys.
All right, thank you, Boom. Thank you for calling in, man.
Out.
All right, call back next time. Yeah, he said that the pictures they looked bad. Let me find some pictures here, Jimmy. But yeah, you were saying.
No, because a torn bicep. Well, because if you if you tear it off you tear the muscle off the bone. It folds up like a fucking lampshade. Like a window shade. Whoop! It's gross. And if they have to retach it, that's a huge injury. That's like a season-ending injury. Like you tear a bicep in football, you're out for the year. That's a big, big injury. That's why I'd be hard-pressed to believe somebody boxed with a torn bicep.
And it's a painful injury. You can't move your arm.
Very painful.
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks a little swollen there. It looks a little swollen there. Like it's got some water retention or something, maybe. This was during the Pacquiao win.
Torn's black and blue. Yeah, the ones I've seen, like a torn chest muscle, torn pec muscle. It's a lot of bleeding.
I remember in the build-up to the fight, people looked at this the day before and they said, what the fuck? Everyone was speculating. In fact, it led to a little bit of a rift between Doug Fisher, editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine, and a couple of people on Twitter, because Fisher was saying, well, why are you guys focusing too much on this, blah, blah, blah. And turns out that the bicep injury was correct according to Ugas, but we don't know what happened. Like, what's he saying? Was it torn? Was it just a little swollen? Obviously, it wasn't torn, because like Jimmy said, you'd see it right away, and he wouldn't even be able to fight with a torn bicep. Let's see. This is from Boxing News 24. Hold on a second. It says, let's see what Ugas said. I injured my left bicep 3 weeks ago in sparring. I wasn't scheduled to fight Pacquiao yet, and I continued training, but I did stop sparring. Okay, but what does it mean? Like, Ugas confirmed while going on live on history that he was injured going to the back. But again, I don't know what that means. I mean, you can clearly see in the photograph that he's got something. His bicep is swollen, but Jimmy, what could that be? Or Gonzalo, what could that inflame the bicep be? Could be a bunch of things, right? But
yeah, it could be inflamed. He could have done. There's a bunch of different injuries. He could have been punched in it. Could have a slight hematoma developed. Strained it. But a tear is a big deal.
All right. So I mean, it's clear that it wasn't torn, but he was injured. To what extent it would have affected the Pacquiao fight, we don't know. He claims that it prevented him from sparring. So I don't know. It's interesting to see. But then again, though, let's say he was injured, then doesn't that make him even more dangerous going into this Spence fight? Because he was able to beat Pacquiao while injured. So it's gonna be interesting to see, man.
Of course.
We're gonna find out on Saturday.
I know. And he said he said he injured it during sparring for getting preparation for Manny Pacquiao. Says he suffered his bicep injury during sparring session 3 weeks before the fight. He hadn't been scheduled. Yeah, so.
All right, we'll see what happens there, man. Let's continue this with the Muller27 in the chat says, please put Ugas' wife in the background. Sorry, I don't have a pic of her. I don't have a transparent pic that I can put here in the background. All right, let's see. Stamina. So, Jimmy, I think you didn't go with stamina yet.
No, I didn't. I can't remember. With Spence, he's fought infrequently, and it's been so long. I can't remember if he tied out. Because I don't think Ugas looked tired in the Porter fight. I don't think he looked too tired against Pacquiao either, because he doesn't really overexert himself. He's a counterpuncher. So I don't know about that one. But
I thought Ugas looked, just to maybe give you a little more indications here, he looked tired against Figueroa. And Figueroa is old. Figueroa is slow. Probably a bit of a partier outside the ring. That wasn't really in shape for that fight, and he still made Ugas clinch a lot late in the fight with constant pressure. So, just throwing that out there, man.
Yeah, against Abel Ramos, he looked a little worse for wear too. He almost got stopped, I think, or dropped at least.
Yeah, but that was because he was trading with Ramos in the last round, which was a dumb thing to do.
Yeah,
Jimmy, you gotta choose, man.
Yeah. All right. For stamina, because I've never seen anything really a problem with Spence. I'm going to go with Spence.
All right, there you go. I agree with that. No problem there. Mental strength. When the going gets tough, who's going to still be there in the game, ready to rumble?
I'm going to go with Ugas because he's come back from losses.
All right, that's a good pick there. Gonzalo, do you agree, disagree?
I'm going to go with Errol Spence. I'm going to go with Errol Spence. And the reason, Ugas, he's coming off the Pacquiao win, which is a good motivator. He believes in himself. He's riding off that win, and he must feel pretty confident. Errol Spence he's bullheaded, one-track minded. He's a man on a mission that you can't deter him off his plan by the way that he fights. He just keeps coming forward. I think, he's the guy that doesn't doubt himself, and that's just the way that's why he is the way he is. Even after the car accident, I still think, he's pretty decided on what he needs to do inside of the ring. So he's just going to come forward, applying that style, that pressure style. So I think, he's pretty mentally strong, especially in Texas. That's going to favor him.
It's a great point, man. I'm going to have to agree with both of you. I'm going to give the edge. I'm going to say Spence has he's stronger mentally, but that's not to say that Ugas isn't. I mean, you're going to give him credit for pretty much being on the outskirts of being of a downslide boxing career, and he was able to pick himself up by his bootstraps, and he had that long winning streak when people thought he was a has-been, or never was rather, and boom, look at him now. He's got a win over Pacquiao. He's in the mega fight against Errol Spence. So Got to give him credit for that. All
yeah,
right. Yeah.
When push comes to shove inside of a fight, like when he fought, remember when Danny Garcia fought Lucas Matisse? You thought, man, Lucas Matisse is a hard puncher. He's going to pressure Garcia, and it's a pick'em fight. But Garcia was tough. Then when Garcia fought Spence, you had two tough guys with good chins. And when push came to the shove with Errol Spence, you could tell that he was hurting Garcia. I think that was a real good win, and he looked really good after the car crash because, like I mentioned, nobody had done that to Danny Garcia. Errol Spence and Sean Porter, like it was down the wire. Razor close victories for those two guys. Errol Spence just lost by a little. And with Spence, man, dude, he just really went to town on Garcia. It was kind of close, but nah, he won convincingly. And Ugas, he got shook by Abel Ramos. He ties up a lot, like you mentioned, BDA. And if push comes to shove with him, yeah, he's strong. But if he gets hit where he gets dented with a hard punch, you don't know how he's really going to react. And I kind of do how Errol Spence, he's tough.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's both guys are tough, that's for sure. But Spence, we got to give it to him in this scenario here. Hold on a second. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Or did he look a little bit like a pussy against Mikey Garcia in the 10th round when Derrick James told him, "Hey, you need to step on the gas tank"? Well, he says afterwards, he said he couldn't pull it off because he was too weakened by making weight. So that's his excuse, and it is an excuse. I mean, when you look at Tank Davis, when you look at Golovkin, when you look at Canelo, when they fought smaller guys, they stopped him. Lomachenko even, when he fought Guillermo Rigondeaux, he made him quit. So the fact that Errol Spence couldn't stop Mikey Garcia and then made excuses afterwards, and actually changed his excuses. He said after the fight, well, I wanted to show the boxing world that I could box, that I had boxing skills. And then months later, he goes, well, I tried to stop him, but I couldn't because I wasn't conditioned enough. So which one is it? Were you conditioned enough and couldn't stop him, or did you try to box? I mean, there's a disconnect there in what he's saying. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Yeah.
Well, I think it was the other way around, unless he flip-flopped a couple of times, because it was during a post-fight press conference. He said, yeah, I try to stop him in the 4th and then again in the 7th, but couldn't, no man down tonight. It is what it is. You know what I mean? That's what he said in following the fight. And that's what I always listen to, what they say right after the fight. That's usually the truth, when they have time to think about it. And I think later, yes, it was later, a few weeks after that, is when he started with I wanted to show my boxing skills.
Well, the way I remember it, Jimmy, was after the fight, he said he wanted to show his boxing skills, and then after the accident, in a PBC interview, he said, well, it's because, the reason why I couldn't stop Porter and Mikey Garcia was because I had to cut a lot of weight beforehand. So that's the way I remember it. He could have flipped it a few times, but I know definitely in the post-fight press conference, it was one of the first questions asked of him when he was up on the podium. Yeah, because he should have stopped.
Yeah, and there was no man down tonight.
Should have stopped and should have dropped. And I know Mikey's tough, he's got good defense, but man, he was essentially a lightweight. I mean, even when Mikey fought at 140, he looked fat, so that wasn't no natural.
He was a career super featherweight. He had majority of his fights at 126. Vast majority of his professional fights at 126. And he went back down to 135. So he actually went up 2 divisions to fight Spence. And there was a larger size disparity between Spence and M. Garcia than there was between Lomachenko and Rigondeaux. But he got zero credit for that, remember? No, there was. It was noticeable size difference. So it was a bigger size disparity between him and Garcia. And same thing, dragged him up 2 weight classes. And he got pound-for-pound status after that victory. Lomachenko got derision.
Interesting, man. Interesting. Listen, fellas, I got to dip out for about 2 minutes. You guys take over. If you want to talk about the odds for this fight and whether, if you were indeed to gamble, who would you place a nice little wager on?
I'm not a gambler. I don't, I never really bet on boxing cash wise. Spend enough money. Eventually, you're always going to lose, man. Very seldom people actually win big money and keep doing it. Plus, it's for me, it become addictive. Do you bet money, Gonzalo?
No, just like 2 times. The 2 times that I did bet, I won a little. Back in the day when Mike Tyson fought Bruce Seldon, I picked Mike Tyson and I picked the round and I won. And I think like later I bet like one more time. And then actual like what do you call those places? The bookie?
Yeah, at the book joint. Yeah. It's just to me because the thing is, if I won a lot, then I get addicted to it, and then you start chasing it. So that's why I've seen too many people get out of control with gambling, getting their fucking cars and boats being taken away. People showed up and throwing their cars in the back of trailers.
And with spade, what is it? 21 blackjack. I bet 2 times with blackjack. The very few times that I've been to casinos when I used to be like married, ex-wife, I only had
odds.
I didn't have no money, and I went out there and I told my mother-in-law. I told her, let me borrow $5, please. They all had money. I didn't that weekend, and off those $5, I think I made like 500, and they left broke, and they left out of there with. Yeah, it was a fun.
Yeah, that's a good score.
I was enjoying it on the way back. They felt sorry for themselves, and I felt pretty good. Me.
Where were you gambling? Where was this, in Manila?
This is in but this is like way back when I used to be married to my ex-wife when I was in the military.
Oh, okay.
Maybe right around the year 2000.
That's right. You said Bruce Seldon. Yeah, you said Mike Tyson.
Well, no, that was a different occasion. That was like in the 90s. That was when I was a teenager. But yeah, with the blackjack, I was maybe around 2002, 2000. I can't even remember, but early 2000s. Up in San Diego, over at by the mountains, La Viejas Casino. What's the other one? They got a few casinos over there. Yeah.
Owned by blonde hair, green-eyed Indians.
yeah, Indian casinos. But yeah, no. With what are we talking about? Errol Spence. Errol Spence. Yeah, I don't question his toughness really, but I think with the whole having to cut down to 47, he is a big guy. That's worried on his stamina going into the latter rounds, especially with that style that he practices. Just continue applying the pressure. That's going to wear on his gas tank. So with the style that he brings and him having to cut down, that really wears on his gas tank. And I really wouldn't say it's like a mental strength thing, but I think they go hand in hand, right? When your stamina gives in, it kind of questions your mental strength. Like, dude, I'm tired.
What are you talking about? What?
It's like if Errol Spence would be at 54, I don't think that would be a question. I would be doubting his mental strength. I really don't. I think it's more like of a conditioning thing. If because he's a big guy having to cut down to 147. He's mentally strong, but at the same time, you got the style where you pressure your opponent, and then you're consuming that you replenish after you rehydrate. But as soon as the fight progresses, you're consuming that amount of replenishment that you put into your body for like after the weigh-in, that you start becoming a shell of yourself, right?
Yeah, so it takes away. Yeah.
So if you're weighed in like at 54 as opposed to 47, you're way more replenished, where that allows you to fight those latter rounds, and maybe it would serve him better to go up to 54. That's the only thing that I'm saying.
No, you're right. You're that's a good point, man. I mean, it's some of these guys would actually benefit, but actually, but Spence even admitted that he wasn't training properly between fights. So, gaining a lot of weight, partying, drinking, running into things with his car. So whether he's at 150, it could have helped. Don't get me wrong, but you're right, Gonzalo. In theory, if a guy is dedicated and he's killing himself to make weight, it's gonna catch up to him at some point. Better to move up. Let's go to a phone call here, fellas. We got a phone call, 956. 956, you're on the air, 956. What's on your mind?
Hey, can y'all hear me good?
Hold on a second. Let me boost. Yeah, speak a little louder, please. Yes, go ahead.
All right, okay. How about now? Good?
Yes, fantastic.
I'm on my headphones. All right, good. Oh, so I was about to say my prediction for the fight.
Oh.
Like when this fight first got announced, I was picking Ugas. I never really bet high on Spence. He's a good boxer, but I never really believed in the hype. You know what I'm saying? Like people compare him to Mayweather and shit like that. I'm like, nah, bro. Like chill down real quick. And I'm very high on Ugas. But after starting the fight this past month, looking at past fights and just really thinking about it, I got Spence winning by 8-4, 8-4, 7-5, even 9-3 type of fight. Ugas, he's one of the best counter punchers in boxing, but that's all he can do, though. You know what I'm saying? He can't cut off the ring. All he can do is counter punch. And Errol Spence, he just has too much. He just has too much athleticism. He's very athletic. He can. I mean, he doesn't have the best footwork, but if you mix his footwork in with his power, he does have power with his high volume, his work rate, his body shots, his good jab. When you mix that all together, it's very hard to beat Spence. It looks easy when you watch him because, he doesn't move his head off the line. His defense is flawed. Like in the Porter fight, you seen his defense was flawed. He's predictable. So when you watch a fight, it looks easy to beat him. But I notice, when you're in the ring, you just get overwhelmed by them, by his high volume, his power, and he can step back when he needs to step back, and his stamina, you know what I'm saying? And Ugas is going to make Spence look like a dumbass in some parts of the fight, but Spence ain't that dumb to, stand in front of Ugas when Ugas is comfortable. Spence knows how to make you uncomfortable in the ring, and that's a very underrated part about Spence. The thing I like about Spence is people be talking about he's one of the most skilled guys in boxing. He's not. He's not one of the most skilled guys in boxing. But I will say this, though. It's going to take a special welterweight to beat Spence. And the only welterweight I see beating Spence right now is Crawford. Because, we could talk about Spence's flaws all day, but, man, it's just the package, the power, the stamina, the high work rate, and his athletic ability is very hard to beat, That's all I got to say. I got Spence by 8-4.
Spence by 8-4 decision. All right. Well, listen, thank you for your call. Call back next time. We'll catch you in the next one, right, man? Take it easy.
All right.
All right. So he's saying Errol Spence is going to make Ugas look foolish in certain spots there. Could be, man. I mean, if Errol Spence is in high condition, good condition, he could make Ugas look bad, man. That's for sure. Let's continue here with this comparative analysis. Now we got more to get to here. Yeah.
And the problem with real quick, the problem with Ugas, he came from Cuba, and you just never know their age. You just truly don't know. It could be 2, 3, 5 years older than what they really say. And how old is he? 37, 36,
35. But add a couple of years.
35. Yeah, you could easily add a couple of years on him.
Yeah, that's it.
So who knows? Does he grow old that night? Overnight, who knows? We'll see.
Skills-wise, I think he's going to be able to hit Spence. But whether he's going to be able to sustain the pace if Spence puts it on him, again, that Figueroa fight raises too many eyebrows for me, man. So when it comes to precision, who has more precision? Who's the more precise puncher?
Ugas.
For me, it's Errol Spence. Because everything that Errol Spence throws is with the intention to land, maybe not a home run punch, but it's there to consistently land. So he digs in with the punches. He likes to target certain, like the liver, and he really pinpoints his shots to me.
Yeah, well, you know what, man? Okay, so we got a 50-50 here. Let me see what people in the chat are saying. Okay, when it comes to precision, people are fighting about fucking Triple G, man. Real Talk says Errol has more precision. All right. Well, we'll see who else jumps in there and says something about that.
I think on average, if I'm not mistaken, Ugas has a higher average connect ratio.
Well, yeah, it could be said about both guys because that's the name of the game for counterpunching. Ugas got that style where he's going to try to catch you with stinging shots on the counter. But yeah, that also could be said about Ugas too. He's a precise puncher as well.
What are they arguing? What'd you say, dude? They're arguing about what?
Triple G, apparently.
Oh, Triple G. Oh.
Yeah, that was last week, fellas. That was last week. All right, people in the chat are saying that Errol Spence is the more precise puncher, although Brain in the chat says that Errol throws more. So make of that what you will.
Yeah, that's the reason why, because he throws more. So they're both precise, but since Errol throws more, he's constantly dishing out more precision, so to speak. That's how I would explain it.
Okay, so the way they fight, Ugas definitely is the more frugal guy. He's a counterpuncher by nature, whereas Spence can chase you down, cut the ring off, and take it to the ward to you. Also, how much, to the body? Most people think about, hitting the face, that's hard. But if you're landing to the body, does that mean you're the more accurate guy? I don't know, man. Jeez Louise, this one's hard. I'm gonna go with Spence just because people said Spence in the chat. More people said Spence. Yeah.
Punch placement. He targets the same areas, and he really knows how to zero in on those areas, like the liver. I was watching some of the highlights.
I tell you what, Ugas was able to keep Porter more honest with the counterpunches than Spence did. So there's an argument there to be made about Ugas. You know what? Like I said, I'm not saying Spence by that much, but we'll give it to him by a little bit. How about that? Now, jab. Who has the better jab between Spence and Ugas?
Errol Spence. Errol Spence got the better jab, in my opinion. And if you say that Ugas had a damaged left hand, left bicep, and then he was throwing it spirally against Pacquiao, that he didn't really utilize it, I would have to say that Errol Spence got a better jab, and I've seen him throw it pretty often.
Well,
he's got a good straight.
Let's think about that. He out-jabbed Mikey Garcia. All right? He out-jabbed Mikey Garcia, that's for sure. He out-jabbed Danny Garcia. Couldn't quite do it against Sean Porter. That jab, he threw a lot of jabs, but he wasn't the jab masterpiece night. So, and even against Kell Brook, he landed a couple of jabs himself, did a good job of, because Kell Brook's got a heck of a jab. Now, Ugas, he was able to out-jab Pacquiao, but I don't remember him being that flashy with the jab. Fuck, I'm gonna say Errol Spence. Jimmy, you gotta break the tie here. Well, actually, not break the tie, because Gonzalo also said Spence. Well, what do you think? Maybe just make it academic at this point.
Yeah, well, it's academic anyways. You guys both already outdid me with on the jab. Yeah, no, I'll go with Spence. That was when it was piston. He had a piston-like jab back in the day. Again, so I'm talking about a lot of things, the nuances.
Hey, shout out to Rex in the chat for his contribution with the super chat. He says, I found Spence's eyeball bouncing around. I can't find margaritas though. Oh, come on. He's fucking... Oh, shit. Yellow. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Sorry about that. The phone lines.
Yes.
The phone lines fell out for 2 seconds. I was scared there that I was going to have to... hold on a second. Gonna have to... Oh, fuck. Am I going to have to restart the phone lines? Like I always do. Yeah, probably I'm going to. And usually that doesn't fucking work, man. I don't know what it is. Is it because it's raining over here?
Press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2.
Give me 2 seconds.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Yeah, why don't you do that? By the way, why do I always have to put... do you guys think that putting a British woman's voice makes it sound more high-tech? You know what I mean?
She sounds more anxious this time. Is that like the only recording? Because she sounds different now.
No, that's always been the same recording, man. Thank you for using Blog Talk.
She sounds like she's in a rush.
Well, let's hear that again, because I actually have to reopen the lines again. I fucked something up here, so let's hear the voice. Again, that's what they do in movies. Remember, whenever you
now press 1 to hear.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Imagine if she started talking to you, BDA, like the movie The Game, no? Remember in the beginning?
Yeah, that's a good movie, man. You brought it up before. Most people don't bring that movie up, man. Same guy that directed.
One of my favorites.
Same guy that directed Fight Club, but that was before Fight Club. No, actually, that was after or before Fight Club. Anyway, all right. So rear hand. Now, when I say rear hand, obviously I'm talking about their power hand. So this would be Spence's left hand, Ugas' right hand. Who has the better rear hand?
I would say it's Ugas, because since he's a counter puncher, he relies more on the rear hand for one single thing, and that is to put hurt on you or to keep you off him. He's gonna try to stave you off with that punch. And I know the Errol Spence punch is harder, and he's also got a good trail hand. But I think if there's one shot in Ugas' entire arsenal that he counts on for the meat and potatoes of like his boxing, that would be the right hand, because that's the one that with Pacquiao, boom, Pacquiao jumped on him and Yordenis Ugas would throw the right hand to counter Pacquiao and keep him off him and to detour him. So I think that's Ugas. That's what he counts on. Like he banks on the right hand, on his trail hand.
Would it be fair to say, Gonzalo, that Spence actually hits harder with the right hook than with the left hand? With the right hook, because when you come, it's possible, it's possible, because that right hook puts you back into position. If you throw, he's got good balance. So if you commit like with left hooks to the body and you throw a straight left hands, if you're Errol Spence, and you get slightly thrown out of position, if you swing that right hook, it'll put you back into position. So a lot of times, you could say that maybe Errol Spence developed that right hook where he throws it with intentions because he's trying to correct the way his body is leaning. So therefore, he probably developed a good right hook. So he's got power with the hooks. All right.
That's just one way of looking at it.
Well, let's see what Jimmy has to say. Jimmy, what do you think? Who has the better rear hand?
Ugas.
All right. So, Gonzalo, you said Ugas, right, too?
Yeah, because look, Errol Spence does have a good rear hand, but he's got a more varied arsenal of punches to select from. So he's kind of like all over the place, which is a good thing. What I mean, he's got more of a selection. That's what I mean. And Ugas, he's relying on that rear hand, and that's his bread and butter. So with that isolated punch that one guy throws, that's the guy. That's Ugas, explosive with that rear hand.
I'm gonna have to agree
and it
with
doesn't
you.
and it BDA, it doesn't mean. It's like De La Hoya said, a lot of punchers, they hit hard, and even a guy that doesn't punch hard, like Mayweather, he could sting you. It doesn't mean that it's all got to be like power all the time. Even a punch that is not as heavy as yours, as Errol Spence, could still like make your push your head back, and it can still like throw you off your game plan. Have it to where you have to reset. So when Yordenis Ugas throws that counter right hand, he makes you reset because he puts this speed behind it. He's explosive. So he's got a good rear hand.
That's an excellent breakdown, man. So we gave the rear hand to Ugas. I think this next one's easy. Hooks. Who throws better hooks? I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, go ahead, Gonzalo.
Yeah, Errol Spence, he's got great hooks. Yordenis Ugas throws hooks too, but they could be slapping at times. Like when he fought Sean Porter, he was kind of lacing Sean Porter. They were both lacing each other. So, I think I would say Errol Spence.
Spence, I agree with you. I don't think there's any debate about this one. He's an inside fighter. His hooks pack quite a wallop in there, breaks guys down for the most part. Or at least makes him unwilling to fight on the inside. Uppercut. Who has the better uppercut?
I would say it's Errol Spence. Errol Spence, he's got an uppercut, but it's more like an upper hook. Like the punch that Anthony Joshua caught Andy Ruiz with. It's a hook, but it's kind of like upper hook. It comes in at an angle.
I like the way Ugas throws his uppercut too, though. He throws it sometimes from outside. He's pretty tricky with it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Ugas on the uppercut.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I think so too, Jimmy.
So wait a minute. Are you changing your pick there, Gonzalo? Or?
Well, I mean, I can't really determine if he's got a great upper hook because it's like an upper hook. He throws great hooks to the body, but they're kind of like shovel hooks. They're at an angle. They're not like up, like from down and up. It's not a punch that's coming vertically up. So I can't really decide how good of a uppercut Errol Spence has.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say neither guy is really the uppercut is not exactly their forte. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna give it to Ugas, man. But again, not by that much. So Ugas, that right uppercut he's got. Actually, the left uppercut. One of the things I liked that he did in the Pacquiao fight, whenever he threw combinations, he would mix up uppercuts in there. 1-2, left uppercut, right hand. And he actually he does the old Juan Manuel Marquez, Marvin Hagler thing where he keeps that elbow pinned to the body, just sits down and then comes up with the punch. He's not flailing. He's not flaring his elbows. He's not opening himself up too wide. It's just a nice overall. It's all the body. It's all torque in there. So that's what I like. So yeah.
BDA, and then people might say, "Oh, Gonzalo, why are you saying what's the difference between an upper hook and an uppercut?" Well, the reason is that an uppercut's good because you don't see it. If it's coming from underneath you and it picks your head up, that's a punch that fighters don't see coming at certain times because it comes out of nowhere from underneath. And upper from the side angle, you could pretty much like see it more so than an uppercut. But that's the reason. There's reasons why, right?
Excellent point. I didn't think about that.
It's like Lubin. He didn't see those uppercuts coming. He just couldn't get used to it. Plus, it was an uppercut that dropped him with Charlo, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wonder if he enjoyed eating those uppercuts. Maybe that's why he stayed in there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's got some sort of a fetish for getting hit with uppercuts. I don't know. Hey, you never know, man. I'm just throwing ideas out there. I'm not saying they're good ideas. I'm just saying they're ideas. Body work. Okay, I think this one's fucking easy, man. Do we even have to go through this one?
That's Errol Spence all day.
Errol Spence all day. I'm not even going to wait for Jimmy. Okay, now this one's interesting, though. Who's got the better corner? The superior corner. In other words, the trainer. Let's just leave it at trainer.
I hear that Ugas got a good relation. Doesn't he have Manny Robles right now?
Ismael Salas.
No, who does he have? Salas, okay. Yeah.
And Spence has Derek James.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ugas. I don't always like what Derek James says, although I do think he's a good trainer. How long has Ugas been with his trainer?
Oh, that's a good question. Not as long as Spence has with Derek James, that's for sure. All right, listen, I'm going to go ahead and say I think I'm going to give the edge to Ugas just because I think, what's his name? Salas is a superior trainer. Now, I'm not saying Derek James is trash, and I'm not saying that just because one guy has a superior trainer, it's going to make he's going to win the fight. The trainer can't fight for either guy. But I do suspect that Salas is a superior tactician because he's been pulling off upsets with some of these guys. And they're not exactly the most talented guys, the guys that destroy everybody, but he's working with them, putting together good game plans. Whereas Derek James, he usually when he has Spence and Charlo, they're usually they have superior firepower, they have the crowd on their side, a lot of advantages. So I don't know how good he's a good trainer, but in this case, I'm gonna go with Ugas. I think Ugas has a slightly superior corner here.
And I've heard that with Charlo, at times I think that instead of giving like sound advice, he just keeps telling them continue doing this, continue punching instead of like giving a specific instruction on how to do things. He just says keep throwing more punches, something along those lines. But I know the chemistry with Errol Spence might be different, but it just goes down to styles, how it correlates with the trainer. I think with the counter puncher, you got more of an opportunity to make adjustments as opposed to the Errol Spence style. So yeah, he's got a lot more to work with.
Jimmy?
Yeah, no, on the corner, is that what we're dealing with still?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with Ugas.
All right, we're all going with Ugas here. Now, let me go to a phone call here real quick before we finish this up. We're almost done here. 807, you're on the air. 807, what's on your mind?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Barely, man, but yes, go ahead.
Yo, Mr. BDA, it's Jimmy. UK Jimmy?
Oh, Jimmy, thank you for calling in, man. What's on your mind?
Just want to see what was up. Are you guys ranking the stats, yeah?
Yes, indeed. We're doing. We're almost done here. We're at cuts. who's more susceptible to cuts?
I'd say probably Errol Spence because he's taken so much facial damage because of getting injected out the Ferrari, getting his eyeballs sliced open, getting cut in sparring. I'd say he probably is more sensitive to facial cuts.
You're saying he's more sensitive to facials. He can't take facials too well, is what you're saying. Let me confer here with the panelists.
Yeah, unless it's yellow beezy. Oh, I mean, unless it's yellow beezy.
No, come on! Would you stop? You keep throwing that guy under the bus, man. I don't know what's the matter with you here or there. But
no, bro, come on, bro. You woke me.
I don't know. I don't even know who Yellow Beezy is, man. But yeah, but what else is there? What else is on your mind, Jimmy?
Look, I think both guys are comparable in physical strength because in their performances against Sean Porter, they looked about the same level. I think Errol Spence's jab, Ugas' jab, the Olympic background. I think it'll be a tough fight, Ugas has been training for southpaws for a long time. He fought Pacquiao, he's got the Cuban background, and there's a lot of southpaws from Cuba that they train with. So I think this is going to be a tough fight for Spence. He's been more active. He might be the sharper of the two. So it'll be a tough fight for Spence.
So who are you picking, Jimmy?
I got Ugas pulling off an upset and beating Spence.
Oh, there you got it right there, Jimmy from the Jimmy UK. By the way, do we call you Jimmy? Because you used to call yourself 007, right? Jimmy 007, I think, or?
Nah, that wasn't me. You could call me Jimbo.
Jimbo. Yeah, by the way, I think you have MOB or something in your name. What does that mean? What does that stand for?
Oh, I'm a part of it stands for Masters of Boxing.
Oh.
It's a thing that H Money came up with. His team is called the Masters of Boxing. It also stands for money over bitches as well. So you take your pick.
All right. Well, that's one interesting concept there. How do you get in there anyway? You got to pay your dues or?
No, man. Just it's free smoke platform. So go up there, talk shit, be as foul as possible, talk a bit of boxing, and then that's it. You're part of the club.
All right. Well, listen, sounds like fun, man. Hopefully we catch up to it at some point. And listen, Jimmy, we gotta move on to another phone call. But thank you for your call. We'll catch you on the next one. All right, man?
Okay, bro. Thank you for having me on, and God bless.
Thank you, man. Take it easy out there. All right. Don't forget to hit the like button, fellas. Hit the like. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 609. You're on the air. 609. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on? Joe from AC.
Joe from DC?
AC, Atlantic City area.
Oh, Atlantic City. Yeah, could you please talk a little louder, man? Because I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
You hear me better here?
Oh, yeah, much better, man. Thank you, man. Well, what's on your mind, man?
No problem, man. What I wanted to call you about, man, is, I being on the Atlantic City side, right, we do a lot of sports gambling. That's what we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at this fight with Spence, and I'm actually thinking, of course, Spence is the, he's the favorite. Everybody expects him to win, but this plus 350 on Ugas, he actually has a chance if he turns out the way he turned out against Pacquiao, or is that completely far-fetched and just nuke the whole Errol Spence thing and throw the bank on it?
Man, that's why I asked these guys earlier, and it looks good, man, especially when you consider the fact that Spence has been out of the ring for almost 2 years, and there's that X factor with the eye, man. That eye, I don't know if it's gonna hold up. Ugas is no pushover on top of that, so maybe you know what? Maybe take half of what you initially wanted to gamble with, and just use that, just half instead of the whole thing.
Yeah, because I was talking with a friend of mine, because isn't the Fury fight the following week, right?
Yeah, it's at the end of April.
So I mean, I guess you can look at it as if you stack Errol Spence and Fury together and go with the favorites, you probably get a minus 116, but it's $116 to win 100.
Man, I don't know, man. Listen,
if you stack Ugas and Fury, now you're really looking at some cake.
That's true. Now, I can't give you any advice because A, I don't gamble, and B, if I do give you advice and then it turns out you lose. Well, let's say I told you, hey, don't put everything, put half, and then you put half and you win, you're gonna go, fuck, I should have put everything. Fuck PDA. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
No, I hear that, but no, I like your insight. I like what you guys were saying. I just wanted that feedback on how you felt the fight was going to go. I know we think Ugas, if he comes out aggressive, right, like you said, the eye maybe puts Errol Spence on his back foot, makes him maybe rather than reacting and waiting for the counter, he's pressuring Spence. But is he capable of that? Does the Spence even allow someone to pressure him? I just never seen it.
Yeah, he doesn't usually. He can fight off the back foot, but he usually likes to stand in front of his opponent and just tap him with jabs, and then mix in some body shots. I don't know, man. This is a hard one, man. This would be the worst type of fight if you want to gamble on. Tentatively, most of us are going with Errol Spence, but none of us would be surprised if Ugas pulls off the upset, man, because he is a good fighter, he's strong, and he's on a winning streak. So his confidence on top of everything else.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Lastly, before I roll, I just wanted to ask on an upcoming fight. I think it might be the next month. Do you think Haney has Kambosos?
Guys, what do you think about that one? Haney Kambosos, if you had to give an early prediction right now.
He's got the ability. He's probably the faster, the sharper out of the two. He's longer, lankier, but I think that in Australia it's hard to give a prediction because if he decides to get on the back foot and throw very few punches and far between where he's not consistent, they're not going to give it to him. He's got to do what he did against Linares for the 9 out of the 12 rounds where he was dominating. Forget about the 3 that he got hurt. If he brings that mentality, he could win.
Well, there you have it. There. Hold on a second.
I don't think Kambosos. I think Kambosos throws a lot of punches. He's the complete opposite of Linares. Linares is all about his combinations, and his foot have to be in the right position. Whereas Kambosos is more like Madonna. Like he'll just wing him wherever he gets enough. He feels he can put enough balance on his feet. He'll throw a punch from that position. So I think it'll be harder for him to keep him off balance than it would be like Linares.
Well, there you have it, caller. Hopefully,
plus he's a naturally bigger guy.
There you have it, caller. Hopefully that answers your question. And thank you for calling in, man. And call back next time, right? Let us know what happened after if you did put a wager. Curious to hear what you could do about that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, man. Take it easy out there.
You too, bro.
He's got a good chin, right too, no, Jimmy? He's got a good chin because he survived when he got hurt in that 10th round, man. So I don't think, Haney punches no near what Teofimo punches like.
Hey, shout out to Tony Boswell, who just re-signed up for the membership program there. Shout out to Tony, really appreciate it. And shout out to Bruce Goes, who just subscribed to the channel. Shout out to Bruce Goes. And don't forget to check out Bruce Goes' channel. They just had Nate Campbell on last night. Very interesting little chat there. So go check it out. He's an old school head. He knows his boxing, and I want to check out his magazine collection because he said he had a Ring magazine collection. I'm curious to see more of that on his channel. All right, let's wrap this up, man. Fucking precision jab, rear hand, cuts. Who is more susceptible to cuts, Spence or Ugas?
I saw. Sorry, Jimmy. I saw what's his name? Errol Spence get cut against Danny Garcia in his last fight. I don't recall ever seeing Ugas cut, but then again, he has no eyebrows. So I saw that he had no eyebrows, but I mean, I'm just joking. I would just have to say that it's Errol Spence. He's more susceptible right now.
Jimmy, what? I'm curious here because Ugas, if you think about it, I forgot to tell this to Gonzalo too. Ugas looked lumped up after the Pacquiao fight. It's not like he walked away clean. So what do you think, Jimmy? Would that sway you a little bit more towards one side?
Now, is this on cuts?
Well, by cuts, I mean facial damage.
Oh, facial damage. Yeah, he seems to wear the fight more on his face. That's just sometimes genetics. Some people don't swell. Some people cut easy. A lot of cuts has to do with the sharpness of your brow. too. If you get some guys are very receptible to get them cuts on their above their eye, but I really don't know. I've never seen either one of them really cut, but I've seen Ugas does seem to show his face does seem to show blows, so maybe he has soft. Maybe his skin's more can cut easier. So I'll go with Spence. His cuts isn't a good thing, or is it a bad way?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go. I think Spence. Spence is the superior. He doesn't take as much damage, facial damage.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, but then again, Spence never fought Pacquiao, even a 41-year-old Pacquiao. So who knows how he would have looked in there. So that's it, fellas.
Yeah.
We're done with the comparative analysis here. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. And yeah,
it's hard. I'm not the guy to like put a lot of stock. Oh, well, this happened to him outside of the ring, and this is why he's gonna look bad. He's a shell of himself. No, but realistically, with the car wreck, you could see visibly, like in pictures, that his eyes did get damaged. He got cut against Danny Garcia. One thing that I also saw, because this is true, he got his teeth knocked out of his mouth. He got his gum shield knocked out by Danny Garcia, meaning that maybe he's not clinching down on it as hard because there might be some lack of feeling there where he doesn't really know that he's biting down as he probably should, or it's a little bit of like loss of like strength. I don't know, with the teeth, with biting down on the gum shield, that maybe he's keeping his jaw like a little loose, and that could be equivocal to maybe taking more damage than he did in the past, because he's got a little bit like tender tissue in the face as well.
Yeah, maybe, man. That's a good point. But in any event, that's what we're looking at here. It's a close fight. It's a competitive fight on paper. I'm not expecting too much action. I don't think either guy is gonna like we said. Ugas is a counterpuncher, and Spence, when he fights the tough guys, he doesn't go balls out. So I think it's gonna be a tentative fight from both guys. But it should be interesting, man. I'm gonna be on the edge of my seat, see what happens. Hey, by the way, fellas, you know what time it is? It is time to read emails. We got to read a couple of emails here coming at us from all over the world. People love to write us. You can write to us by going to the About Us page here on our YouTube account. So go check that out. Communiques. Let's get down to it. Where is that shit? Hold on a second. There we go. Communiques. People write to us from all over the world.
I love the Deliverance music.
It's not Deliverance. What are you talking about, man? It's a nice, wholesome music that encapsulates the friendliness from our viewers. All right. We always appreciate you guys writing in. Let's get right down to it. This comes to us from Ari from New York City, the Big Apple. And he says, love the show. Gonzalo, you rock. Who do you want to see take on the winner of Spence Ugas? Well, shout out to you, Ari. And that's a good question. Who do you guys? I mean, okay, forget Crawford. that's never gonna happen. Financially, Steve Kim said that doesn't make any sense. They can't pay these guys what they want. So, what's the next best thing for both guys, or for the winner rather?
Maybe the Keith Thurman fight that never happened. Give the Thurman an opportunity if he could get like another win, or have it to where they have a big Texas showdown against the up and coming Virgil Ortiz Jr. That would be a good fight too.
Good choices. Jimmy?
All
right. Let's go to... what the fuck? Oh, Jimmy dropped out. I think he's having issues there. Let's go to... Hold on a second. All right, so that's Ari from New York. Ari, thank you for writing in. This is Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia Fan King. The Ryan Garcia Fan King. He says, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So Ryan Garcia beats a tough contender, wins every round, hurting him numerous times in the process, and yet he's a bum? It sounds to my perky little ears like we have some naughty Ryan Garcia haters. Whatever shall we do with them? Something deliciously sexy and evil, I suppose. XOXO. Well, I gotta tell you, we did, maybe, were we a little rough with old Ryan Garcia? Perhaps, but look, and Gonzalo, I think you'll agree with this. He's fighting a smaller guy, much smaller guy, who doesn't really hit hard, and he couldn't really take him out. He hurt him twice, but you would expect the big guy, the supposed best lightweight in the world, according to himself, to take this guy out, and he couldn't do it. So I think that soured people a lot. I think that's soured. But we're not being too harsh on him. We're not saying he sucks or anything. At least I don't think we did. Maybe we came across that way. And if we did, that wasn't our intention. But hey, I gave Ryan Garcia props. I said I liked how he started off aggressively. I liked that he tried going to the body. But he was just turning to a slapper down the stretch. Not really his fault, I suppose. Well, you could say his fault. Anyway, I'm ranting here. This guy's creeping me out. That's why I'm fumbling all over here.
He looks like the serial killer from the movie Seven, right? The guy that makes the faces off the women's skins. He's like in a water well in a tunnel. No, he's down there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm pretty sure he's got secret compartments in his house for sure. That's what he looks like. He's the Ryan Garcia fan king, apparently. I didn't even know there was a king of the fan club, but there it is. Let's go to Stretch Fletcher. Stretch Fletcher here, coming at us from Connecticut. He says, I heard you guys talk about neck exercises the other day. I never did any, and I still avoided being dropped or stopped in my professional career. All I had to do was lean back and no one could touch me. Neck exercises are overrated. I don't know, man. Why not give yourself every chance out there of being able to absorb a punch and just do a couple of fucking neck cranks or something? I mean, not neck cranks, but, with the thing there where you put the collar on and you sort of go up and down with it. Maybe some push-ups with the neck, I don't know what they call them, but you've seen Sonny Liston do them, Mike Tyson do them. Working on that neck really allows you to absorb shots better, at least on the chin. You're not going to turn into Mike Tyson, but hey. So that's Stretch Fletcher there from Connecticut giving us his opinion on that. This comes to us from RR in Arizona. It says, big tip of my hat to BDA's cousin Lalo, for graduating from rodeo clown school. I'm in the rodeo business and it ain't no joke. My prized stud dislocated my taint the other day, so I commend Lalo for his efforts. The job ain't easy. Stay strong. Well, shout out to you there, RR. I'm pretty sure Lalo's going to appreciate the kind words. And yeah, man, he told me himself. He said, you got to go through hell to become, being a rodeo clown is hell enough. So this guy is concurring with me. I think Jimmy also said the same thing when I brought up Lalo. So shout out to Lalo, shout out to RR. Don't quite know how you can dislocate your taint though, but this guy is saying it's possible, so shout out to him. This comes to us from JR, Las Vegas, Nevada, and he says, hello, I recently became a boxing fan and it's been a wild ride discovering all these great boxers. I just found out about Manny Pacquiao and I've been binge watching all his fights. I'm copying all his moves at the gym and I've even adopted the same diet. I am in awe of him. Gonzalo, do you wish sometimes that you could, like in Men in Black, they had that thing that erased the memory. Do you wish that you could have your memory erased and relive all these great moments from boxing? Or maybe the good Lord gave us a memory for a reason and we shouldn't abuse it. And, you enjoy things when they happen in the moment. You're supposed to live in the present and then expect more good moments in the future. That's my little philosophy. Why not? So shout out to JR from
Sorry
Vegas.
about that. Oh, sorry, I got the line dropped on me, brother. Just I was about to give you my... Sorry.
Don't worry about it. We're still here at the emails. This comes to us from Kiltman from Boston. And he says, controversial stance here. Boxing trunks are too long and they allow fighters to ride their groin protector all the way up to their armpits. So what's the solution? Kilts. They're comfortable, allow for smooth mobility, and they're manly with a rich warrior tradition behind them. By the way, I haven't been skipping leg day, have I? Well, shout out to Kiltman. I don't really want to look down there too much, but what about that, guys? Kilts. I mean, some people do complain about those guys wearing the groin protector all the way up to their armpits, which might protect them a little bit from body shots. Are kilts something that would be too weird, or do you think it could work?
Too heavy. The wool. Sweat your ass off in that thing.
Yeah, but some guys wear leather trunks, so...
Well, I can't stand those Thai boxing ones. You know what I mean? Like the Broner ones that like hang down in the front and it slips up the side.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the way,
no, those shorts piss me off.
What was Errol's? Not Errol's. Jeez. Deontay Wilder was wearing a type of like a kilt, like in a dress in his fight against Tyson Fury. It was weird.
Yeah, some guys, well, like
His
the
head-
Hector Camacho trunks, those are pretty much, they're very revealing.
Well, they're the gladiator style. That's what they used to call them. What he wore, Camacho.
Right.
But now they're called. But now they incorporate Thai. The Thai fighters because they have to kick, so the sides are cut up. So it was a combination of almost like they took the design that Camacho made famous, the gladiator style, and then combined it with the. You know what I mean? The Thai fighting shit. I can't stand them. I hate those fucking things. They piss me off.
Well, listen.
Wasn't Teofimo Lopez wearing something like that too against the fighter that he fought? What's his name?
Yeah, Kambosos. Yeah. He did have some sort of like the, not necessarily Roman. That looks more Greek, I think, when they get the leather straps. I think. I could be wrong. I'm no historian. So shout out to Kiltman there. By the way, the ancient Greeks, they used to box naked, I think. So anything that's not naked, anything that's clothed, it's a big plus for me, man. This comes to us from JJ Allen from Michigan. He says, "You guys don't know how much joy you bring me and my gammy. We love to sit on the couch and listen to your show. I also like it because it makes my gammy fall asleep, which allows me to grab $10 from her purse and go score some smack. Thanks again, guys." Well, shout out to you, JJ. I'm glad we can provide some happiness there. By the way, does $10? What does $10 get you?
I was going to say $10. What the fuck, man? Heroin's cheap, huh?
Is that maybe he's not even getting heroin. Maybe he thinks it is. He's getting fucking baking soda or something. I don't know.
That's a tall, creepy dude, man. He's past
oh, come on, Gonzalo.
the frame of the door.
No, come on, Gonzalo.
One time I went to Disneyland and like 6 of those dudes chased me, man. I was pretty fucking scared. Some giants.
That fucking guy. Fucking circuses in town.
Looks like a giant. What's his name? The Kiss guy who's always talking about money. Gene Simmons. He looks like a 7 feet Gene Simmons.
Yeah, exactly. He does look like Gene Simmons in a clown outfit.
That's right. All right. Shout out to JJ from Michigan for his contribution there, for writing in. And this is.
I'd smash that fucking legless granny.
No, come on. Yeah. All right. Now we're gonna move on from that. This Devin Haney 2045, and he says, "This Devin Haney 2045. The amount of information I can send back is limited. So here's the deal. Please, someone tell my 22 version not to fight in Australia. I can't get into specifics without violating the Fort Heimer-Walton law, but if I fight in Australia, it might lead to an eternity of hell on earth. Also, tell Ryan Garcia not to ingest the contents of that plastic bag that Oscar will offer him on March the 4th, 2023. His rectum will thank me later." All right, so that was emails, everybody. That's emails. Thanks again to everybody who wrote in. Don't forget the email address is in the About Us page.
That was funny.
Some fucking people out there. They don't even, you know what? They don't even respect the sanctity of the email address. But yeah, that's email.
BD, he did come out saying that he didn't want Oscar, the Garcia, what is it, Reynoso training camp, the gym. They didn't want De La Hoya going there, something like that, right? It was weird.
Oh yeah, I think maybe because of the past history there between Oscar and Canelo. So yeah. But anyway, fellas, don't forget to write to
us. He doesn't get along with the father and son, doesn't he? I think Oscar, he bumped heads with them pretty hard.
I don't know, man.
Ryan Garcia said that Oscar De La Hoya was banned from the Reynoso gym.
Oh, interesting. All right, well, listen, fellas, that's all we got for today. Nice little comparative analysis. We will be back on Friday. Don't worry. We're going to be back on Friday. We're going to be doing
We went through that thing pretty quick today.
Pretty quick,
That was
man,
pretty quick.
Under 3 hours.
Normally that thing lasts 2-3 hours, yeah.
And you know what? We could have done better. I'm going to blame this on you guys, but we definitely could do better. So.
Well, I really kind of think it's Gonzalo, but it's just me.
No, Jimmy. It's a team thing, man. Everyone's
all
equally
right.
Responsible, except for myself. All right, listen, fellas. Thanks again for being on. Jimmy, Gonzalo, always appreciate your input here coming in. Like I said, we're going to be back on Friday. Don't forget. Don't be afraid. Friday, open lines Friday. Anybody can make it in if you want. And we're going to be going on after the weigh-in. So we might be doing it a little later than usual, maybe at 6:30, depending on at which point these guys weigh in. And it's going to be fantastic, man. I expect fire. I expect fireworks. So shout out to everybody who donated the super chat as well. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, of course, man. Tony Boswell, Super Anderson Aldo, King Bucho, PG, Rex, Marion G, Knockout Ned, The Fight Doctor, Flexley, Reverend Pickles, Zion Selvin, MMA Champ, Super Anderson Aldo, and many more people. If I forgot anybody, it's because we got to go. What, Jimmy? Did I hear somebody want to say something or?
No, okay. I didn't say nothing.
I thought I heard somebody. I don't know if it was you or Gonzalo. Were you going to say something?
No, I was on mute.
All right. Well, listen, fellas, thanks again for joining us, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. Like I said, we'll be back on Friday. Do not forget to check us out on Odyssey, the Second Renaissance. We're now on Odyssey. We're going to be doing episodes over there and posting videos. We can do it pretty much whatever we want over there compared to YouTube.
And give that like button a Will Smith action.
Oh, that's right. Give it a nice hard slap, man. All right, fellas, thanks again for joining us, everybody. Take it easy. Catch you on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your night.
What are you going to